And we're rolling.
All right.
How's it going, dude?
What's up, brother?
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Hot bastard outside.
Dude, fucking miserable.
What you sipping on?
Kona Big Wave. I got this on accident one time in Cruces. I'm still old school as shit. So it was at like Broken Spoke or some fucking place my friends took me.
Right.
And then it had one of those scan the QR code for the menu deals. And I didn't have a QR code scanner on my phone yet. And I was like, motherfucker. And I'm trying to get the menu going. And I was like, I don't know. And it finally loaded and the server was all pissed off. He's just like rolling his eyes at me and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn it, I feel like one of those old fucks that don't know how the world works anymore. And then the first thing that popped up, it was just that. And I was like, give me that. And whatever. And he brought it. And I was like, dude, that shit's dope. Yeah, it's like a perfect summer beer. It's got like a fruity, almost a fruitiness to it, but not like it's not like Blue Moon or anything. But
yeah, Kona, like a lager, like a longboard.
Yeah. It's a golden ale is what it is.
Golden ale.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But
okay.
Shit's fire, dude. I love it.
Good summer beer.
Definitely.
That's kind of why I grabbed these. These are those like Santa Fe Brewing. You know, they make like the Happy Camper IPA and all those different like Java Stout, like everything they make. I like it. But
do you
this
do all
one's
those
like
IPAs and everything?
I did for a bit, you know, like I went through a phase of just doing different beer, like just all different beer, you know. And then like there's this, I went to NMSU in Cruces, you know, and there's this class for like
brewing and shit.
The brewing class,
Fuck
and
yeah.
It's a wider world elective credit, so it's not like even if you're going to like College of Engineering or College of Education or whatever like you're going for, you can take this as like an outside credit. So everyone
You're just brewing beer in college.
Everyone takes it, yeah. So,
all right.
Well,
I should have went to college. Goddamn.
You don't do it in class, which is kind of a shame. But like, you have like a lecture hall, and you go over like the lesson or like it's a lot of like brewing history and beer history, and it's like a chemical engineering is the subheading. So it's like it's pretty advanced shit. I mean,
so it can like by learning brewing beer, you can also like almost accidentally learn other shit in the process. Is that the general idea?
Totally. Yeah. There's crossover between
that is tight.
Everything, yeah. But like you have to do a beer for your final. You have to brew your own beer, and it takes like weeks. Like I think there's pretty much about a general like a 30-day minimum to get a beer. Yeah. And there's all kinds of different shit about it, like ale yeast versus lager yeast, and ales are easier because the temperature range can be wider. Yeah. Lagers have to be very specific. So if you have like a dope setup and you can really like control your temp. You can maybe do a lager yeast or something. But
oh yeah, dude. Like
I've talked about this before, but
in my older like age and stuff, I'm getting more into like the patient side of things. Is like of course I chose the smoking aspect of like smoking briskets and shit. I turned into that fucking dad.
Oh, dope.
Like I've done like pork, like smoked pulled pork. I've done like ribs and briskets and stuff just from a little egg smoker. One of my like a friend of a friend just gave me.
Yeah.
He was like, dude, if you don't want this thing, I'm going to throw it away today. And I was like, fucking be right there, dude. Because that's like a $600 smoker. It's like one of those big ceramic eggs.
Oh, nice.
And I learned shortly thereafter that thing is a pain in the fucking ass.
Right.
Because like there's a little flute on the bottom and then there's a little like chimney little thing on top. So like you have to move it just barely. And I'm talking millimeters. Like, if you move it, like, more than a couple millimeters, like, your fire is going, like, your temperature is going way up. Or if you close it too much, it's going way down. So you have to find that sweet spot. And it's like, fuck, man. And if it gets a little windy, the air gets into the chimney, blows it up, and then the coals get hotter. So it's like you kind of have to tuck it into a corner. There's a whole damn science to the whole freaking thing. But
yeah.
But no, like, brewing beer, that's something I've always been interested in, too, but never had the patience. I've always been a really impatient person. Like I want instant gratification all the time. Mm-hmm. If I'm not good at something right away, I throw it to the fucking side and I don't want anything to do with it. But I was worried you were gonna say like I'm an IPA guy. No. Like, oh, I love IPAs. Like those fuckers that pretend to like thing, IPAs, bro. Like, shut the fuck up. You don't like IPAs.
There's like that stigma, like a meme.
You like being different, you know what I mean?
There's like a meme, like a stigma, like the flannel shirts and the beards and then like the IPA, like the bro. Like the IPA bros.
I love going to the brewery in Cloudcroft. Like, it's my jam. Like, I like in a roundabout way know the owners. Like, I like the environment. The building's cool. The beer's good.
Yeah, dope
but
atmosphere.
Like, you see those dudes from Texas in the fucking flannels and the beards,
It's
and
totally
the fucking
true.
shades on inside. And I'm like, let me guess what these fuckers are gonna order. Oh yeah, sure shit, a fucking IPA. What do you fucking know?
Yep.
Like, you pretend like you like that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really do, I mean, I'm not ragging on them, but if you're one of those pretenders, you're just drinking it to be cool, shut the fuck up.
When I first had the yellow can, the Happy Camper IPA, I was like,
threw up.
whoa.
I about threw, because the first time I had that, I was hungover.
Oh, shit.
Like, it was the next day after camping, and that was all that was left in the cooler. And I already had, like, that kind of, ugh. So I was trying to get some, like, the hair of the old dog and seeing if I can feel better. So I cracked one of those, and I took a sip, and I was like, oh, whew.
Yeah. I mean, that shit's it's strong and intense.
Nasty.
You know?
Nasty.
It's kind of like maybe like cilantro or something. Like you either love it or hate it.
It's either like you like love it or you have to like train yourself to like it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those type of deals.
I think I fell in the middle. Like I tried it and I was like, I don't know if I like it. I definitely I wasn't like turned off by it, but I was just like, whoa. And then like I kind of leaned into them for a while and like I was like, yeah, these are alright. And then there's different ones and some of them are like more juicy IPA where they're like more like fruity kind of hops and shit that have like a fruitiness, and there's other ones that are like more skunky and bitter. And,
those ones,
there's so many different beers, and honestly, like the brand makes a big difference too. Like the different.
Do you know the history behind the IPA?
The IPA is kinda. It's like India Pale Ale.
Right.
So there's Pale Ale, and then there's India Pale Ale.
Right.
And supposedly is like they were transferring it like a long ass time ago, like on ships.
Yeah.
And the beer. It got stuck out at sea longer than it needed to be. Like it was a pale ale.
Yeah.
And it was going to India or coming from India or something.
It was going to India, I think. It was like there was a war or some shit going on. A bearded dude with a fucking plaid shirt told me this story. Ironically enough. Oh my God. But he's like, you know what IPA's for? Or why it's named that? And I was like, I don't fucking care.
He's like, I took a brewing class in
he's like, I'm basically a vegan, so let me tell you all my opinions real quick.
Oh shit.
And yeah, no, that's legit though. Like they used like extra hops or something like that to maintain like the actual like
keep it
integrity
from going
of
bad.
the beer to keep it from going bad while it's being transported to another country during battle times.
And in turn it got stronger.
Right.
And it was like the English or something, or like
I believe it was.
Not from India, but
could be wrong.
They just dubbed it IPA or something.
Yeah, it's one of the two.
Because
go and see where we're coming from.
It was supposed to be like that was like a fluke, and like, you know, here's what we did to make it through the trip. And then people were like, no, that shit's kind of good. Like some guy in a plaid shirt was like,
they're like, I haven't had beer in 6 months. Fuck yeah, this is working. I'll work. It's like the whole Bob Ross, like a happy little accident.
Right. A lot of things are like that. In fact, beer, kind of like some of the history is like, it's arguably one of the things that like helped civilization.
Yeah.
People come together, going from being like nomadic, like hunter gatherers, to being more in one place. Because they started they wanted to recreate this drink kind of shit because the water wasn't clean back then. Like alcohol kept the water clean. So like they'd make primitive beers and wines and shit, and like it's kind of like one of the ways that started farming, because they were like, we need this shit keeps us healthy, and instead of going from place to place to place drinking this fucked up water, we can stay in one place and make this reliable drink that doesn't kill us.
That makes a lot more sense than I thought that it was going to make sense, like going into that. Oh yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, it's like one of the main reasons that we went to like farming.
Who do you think was like
kind of? I mean, I wasn't there, but it's just what I've heard.
I got a little bit of ADD, so like my brain goes all over the place, but I think about often, who is the first person to try cheese?
Yeah.
Like, who like looked at that bucket of spoiled milk that's like solidified over there and was like, I'm gonna eat that. You know what I mean? Same thing with like alcohol. Like the first drink of alcohol for any human had to be fucking horrific.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm just gonna keep doing this.
I think
you know what I mean?
my guess would be out of necessity. Like you can't waste that shit. Like nothing goes to waste in those days, right? So they're like, fucking eat the curds or whatever, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of like a thing. And
it's not bad.
And then the alcohol, I think, was for sure. I think the story goes that they were transferring grains or something, and then it got wet, like rained on.
Yeah.
And then they went in the cave, and they're like, well, we can't throw this away. We have to keep it. And then it fermented, and then they drank it, and we're like, oh, goddamn, caught a buzz.
I could see that.
All right. But I don't know. Again, I wasn't there, but there's like legends of all that.
I like it either way.
History's cool, man.
I'm all about it, man. Like the ADD brain and stuff. Like I like learning about pretty much anything I can, but I always learn off of documentaries and stuff. Like, I was never a really good student. Like, I don't classroom learn. It doesn't stick.
Mm-hmm.
But like watching documentaries and shit, and watching like movies, videos, and then same thing, just talking like to homies and stuff that just know stuff. It's my shit. I love it.
Me too. I love it. Yeah.
If you put a book in front of me with all the knowledge in the world, like, I'll probably pick out 2 topics that I'm like, that'll stick, that I'm really interested in. You know,
it's really hard, like to take a book and put it into.
It's just
put it into practice.
Constant problem for me, dude. All through school, it was just a freaking battle.
It's like even now, like I've got some music books recently. I've got some couple guitar transcription books, and and just trying to learn it. Even the tablature, it's like it's not sheet music; it's numbers. It just tells you the fret and the strings and the little tricks, like if it's a slide or a slur or hammer on or a little lingo, you know.
Yeah.
But even with all the information spelled out right there, it's like, God damn it, it's hard. And then I look up a video of someone doing a cover of the song, and I see the way that their hand moves.
Instant.
And I'm like, all right, that makes so much more sense now.
Right.
So it's like, the books are just fucking kind of hard for me, too.
Yeah.
Any kind of book.
Fucking, that's good to know I'm not alone.
Yeah, definitely not alone on that, for sure, man.
You still doing the band thing? You still, like, doing guitar and all that?
Yep. I'm in a cover band. Our band's called Seven Stone. We play, like, a lot of 70s, 80s cover rock, like Priest and Zeppelin and Iron Maiden.
That's
and
my shit. That's my
Deep
shit.
Purple and all kinds of crazy off the wall stuff.
You do that at the Rabbit Hole or whatever?
We've done the Rabbit Hole once or twice. Shout out Rabbit Hole. That place is sick. I want to play there again.
F&A.
I've gone to some cool shows out there, and it's fun to play that. It's just a good vibe.
My girl's dad plays out there a lot, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Wayne.
Oh, right, yeah.
But he's a cool dude, man.
He is cool. I want to get him on here.
Yeah.
John Wayne. He's got a lot to say.
He does. like you might have
got some stories.
You might have to charge your batteries for that one.
Yeah. To break it down into part 1, 3, and 5.
Right. Nah, it's cool though. But yeah, dude, I dig that. Like, I see your like your Instagram videos, like you playing like a lick or something. I'm like, fucking hate that. That's what's up, dude. Like,
yeah, it's fun. It's just like it's like pursuing difficult things. Like, it's shit's hard to do, you know, but like once you tackle like something and you're like, it feels good, you know.
Yeah.
And I've always been kind of drawn to that, not to be like, oh, look at what I can do, but it's just like, it's to yourself. It's like, look what you can do, Pat. Like, if you actually try, like, you can play the shit that you hear, you know? Like, you're like ripping a Metallica song and you're like, fuck yeah, like, it just feels awesome, you
like
know?
Dude, like, I heard some of your riffs that you were doing, and like, not to like too much on you, but dude, really, like, your riffs are fucking sick. And like, I'm confused on some of them, if like you're covering or if that's actually like your original, but either way, I'm like, fucking A, bro.
Yeah,
that's what's up. Mad props.
Thanks, man. We're doing Seven Stone. We're playing the 4th Friday, this coming Friday, at the zoo. Like, it's a big one.
I might have that day off.
Like, for us, it's a big one. Like,
if I have that day off, I'm there, dude. I'm there for sure.
Sick, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, we played it last year in May, and there was like 800 plus people. Well, that's a big show for me. I'm like, damn, that's a trip playing in front of that many people.
I used to work on a food truck, and we used to do 4th Fridays and shit too. There's always a lot of people there.
You've probably seen my band before I was in it at the, you know.
Did they have the same name at that time?
They've had a few different names.
It's kind of bounced around.
Yeah, but a lot of the same dudes have floated into that. Throughout that same band, maybe dubbed a different name here and there, but
for sure.
We play the VFW a lot, which is, at first I was like, oh yeah, sick, the V, you know, but it's like, it's actually really fucking cool. I love that place.
Is it like a lot of dinosaurs in there, just like, yeah, Zeppelin? Is it like that? Or
like,
is it like
if you went there,
a mixed bag?
If you went there like matinee during the day, there'd be some old people in there. And like sometimes we set up early and do sound check.
Yeah.
And like you'll start hitting the kick drum or something. Like I'll help the drummer do sound check. So he's out there mixing the sound and I'm behind the kit. And he's like, hit the kick drum. And I'm all, you know, just so he can mix the sound,
make it to his like specifications.
There's been
or whatever.
old guys in there that like have like PTSD and shit, and they're like, I gotta get out of here, you know. And you're like, oh fuck, dude, sorry, sir. I appreciate your service. Like, we're those assholes, but with a drum set.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
but like our band, like, you know, they've been through it too. Though some of the dudes in the band are older guys, and they, you know, it's like they've been through it too. You know?
They have their stories, so. Their battle scars or whatever.
But as far as the V, I mean, it is an older crowd a little bit. I mean, we're kind of an older band. Like Keith, the main lead guitarist, he's fucking phenomenal. You got to hear this kid play. But he's like 21. He's the drummer's son.
Okay.
So he's 20.
What's the drummer's name? I might know him.
Larry Clute.
Fuck, that sounds so familiar. Oh, yeah. Anyways,
he's been here forever, local. So it's Keith is 21. I'm 32. 31 going on 32, and then the other guys are like 50 in their 50s and 60s. But I mean, it's
Still
like
rocking.
it's a great range. It's just like a really cool dynamic of all of us, and like there's no drama. It's like it's really cool.
That's like for a band setting, that's rare. Because I grew up around bands. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but my dad, like, he was in bands my whole life pretty much, like, mostly, like, metal, rock type of bands like that. So it's a familiar setting to me. And, like, you'd always hear about, like, all the little squabbles, like the internal squabbles and shit that. But my dad was always on the drums. He was in, like, a few random just bands. So, like, I grew up with Metallica, Alice in Chains, like, Nirvana, like, all that shit playing, like, constantly. So... But it's pretty sick, like, the whole band setting. Like, I kind of miss being around it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But from what I understand, he's still doing it. Like, he's living in Arizona now, and, like, I know he's got his drum kit still, or at least I'm pretty sure. But still, like, every time I go, he's like, you want to play the drums real quick? And I'm like, I'll try, Dad.
Yeah.
But fuck, like, it's been a long time, but he'll rock something out for me real quick and just jam out, and I'm like, fuck yeah.
Sick. That's what's up. It's like one of those things you can't unsee it, kind of. You're just like always a party. You're like a skateboarder, you know. Like you still see the world as a skateboarder. You might not skate that often, but
100%.
But there's no way it'll ever leave you, you know.
Like even still, like I'll drive down a random road. There'll be like a new construction or something like that. I'll see like a stair set or a rail or like, I'm like, fuck, man, like.
Someone needs to hit that.
Someone like I want to give like all the kids a shout out, but I don't have any of like really the younger generation on my like social media or anything. But
right.
I kind of want to call some people out, be like, hey, bro, somebody needs to hit this right fucking now. Like,
yeah. If you have any ideas, send me a photo of the spot.
Yeah.
And
you'll reach out.
When we had the Curb Appeal shop on New York, we were watching the show King of the Road.
Love that.
Thrasher
Love
King
that
of the Road.
Show. Yeah.
So they have all those challenges and bounties on a spot, and you have
Are
to
you
do
gonna
this.
do a King of the Road?
So
King of Alamogordo?
Well, the homies at the I can't claim the idea because like one of the other guys, probably JoJo or a combination of all of us. It was kind of all of us, but somebody else had like started it, and they were like King of the Curb.
Oh shit! Hell yeah.
And they had a notebook, and they started writing shit in there, like JoJo, and we were writing stuff. But we had funny stuff, like someone put kickflip the 3-stair inside the mall.
Oh, fuck. And, with that haggard ass tile, dude. Oh my god!
And like we had these kids going to the mall, dude, because the mall has seen no action at all in years from skateboarders, right? No. From skateboarders, like when we were coming up in middle school, high school, like the mall was the place to go on the weekends and shit. Yeah. Movies, you know, the theater was there, and it was one.
Dig 'em smack. Like I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you're maybe old enough. I don't know, but like Dig 'em Smack's dad had a skate shop in the mall for a while.
It was a little bit before me, but I remember hearing the stories.
But I remember I walked in there, dude, as a little kid, and I was like fucking amazed. Sick. Like, dude, like there's just banana boards everywhere, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and then I think I saw my first like actual like real skateboard, not just like the longboard or banana board style or whatever. But,
yeah.
Dude, I was so stoked on it. My dad brought me there, and he's like cutting it up with the owner, I guess, Dig 'em Smack's dad, which I didn't know at the time, of course. But
yeah.
I was like, dude, that's so sick. And then my dad was a skateboarder too. Like he was a surfer from California, and I always remembered seeing him just like doing those weird little like manual pivots, like Dig 'em Smack does, stuff. Like how he just does the little
swivel, like spacewalking.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, I'd always see my dad doing that shit too, sick. And I was always just drawn to it. But yeah, dude, the fucking mall, like, it's such a sad place to go now. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bummer.
It's had a slight resurgence, but it's like still. Yeah. But I mean, that's just the internet and the nature of like having a brick and mortar is hard to keep up with anything online.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big old bummer. I walk in there and there's just like half of the shit is just like
ghost
like
town.
Metal doors, like nothing there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, it's sad.
No, they at least need to have a popcorn machine in there just to bring you back to that like movie theater nostalgia. I think like psychologically like bring more people in there. Like.
Legit, yeah.
But like, yeah, the King of the Curb thing. Like the mall had seen no skateboarder since like our days, you know.
Yeah.
Because like when I was a kid, it'd be like my parents would let me go out at night, you know, like 13 or something, but they'd let me go to the mall because the movies were there.
It was like a safe.
So I'd take my skateboard and like we didn't go to the movies. We were just skating those red curbs all night and ollieing over the speed bumps and shit.
Doing little slappies on them and little
doing
roll-ons.
Stupid shit, going out on the train tracks, putting shopping carts out there and stupid shit, you know. But
good times.
It's funny though, because then there was the dead period of the mall, and then years later, all of a sudden, there's like these group of kids going in there every day trying to kickflip the stairs inside, and it's loud as shit too, like on the bricks. And
it had to sound like gunshots in there, man.
Dude.
Like for how echoey that thing is. Yeah.
You ain't kidding.
Damn.
So it's funny because like the kids kept getting kicked out, and they were like, "Damn it!" And then like this one kid finally got it, but it was so funny. It was just like a random challenge, but like I forget we gave him some bearings or some shit. But I want to bring it back, like maybe not even necessarily king of the curb, but like even just like random bounties on a spot. You're like
every once in a blue moon.
You're like just someone just hit this. Like if you found something and you're like someone hit this rail, and like if you get a trick on this rail, film it and send the clip to Orange Curve, and I'll give you a deck.
I'm all about it, dude. I'm already on it. Like I'm getting excited thinking about it. I'm like, bro, like I'll send you some shit because like I'll just randomly drive past some place that I've driven past 1,000 times, but I keep looking at like a same stair set or a same rail or something like that, or a new gap or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if you remember, but like there's like that gap on Indian Wells. There's like a doctor's office or some shit, but there's like between two big ass pine trees, and then like a huge old step down that me and Danny and Andrew Pion did.
Oh yeah,
like that one we were like,
yeah.
But like I haven't seen any footage of anybody else hitting that since.
Yeah, that's so. I think it was dubbed the dentist gap because it's like a dentist office, so that's what everyone started.
The dentist gap.
Dentist gap.
Shit,
yeah.
I don't even remember what we called it. But yeah, dude, I want to see people hit that shit.
I've never seen a trick. Now I've seen ollies down it, and maybe I think Duha, Puerto Rican dude that was here for a little while, he ripped this town a new one for the short period of time he was here.
That's what I heard.
I think he 180'd it, or and I think someone's definitely stuck a kickflip, like Bennett.
I heard somebody did
one
a kickflip on it.
One of them dudes kickflipped it, or at least stuck one, and someone put it down.
I frontside 180'd it like off camera, as I'm apt to do. Like a lot of my best tricks were never fucking filmed.
It's just back in the day. It was like
but I did a frontside 180 on it, but that was as comfortable as I was with that thing because that landing is haggard. It was just cheese grate city, dude.
Yeah,
it was bad down there.
And you have to pop the curb too. Like if it was no curb, like I'm not even a gap person. Like I was always like, nah, fuck that. But yeah, you have to pop the curb, which makes that gnar factor even more, especially for a flip trick.
And it seems to take so much distance off of like where you're actually going to. It's like, fuck.
Even though like if you do clear the curb, you're like naturally higher because you overcompensate, so you're gonna go flying way out over it. But still, like mentally, you're like, it just seems like it's much more effort.
But that gap is just, I don't remember how many tries it took me, but I think there's a few like wheel bite, like cheese grater type of scenarios that happened. I'm pretty sure I lost some elbow skin on that one, but yeah, dude, if I see something else, I'm sending it straight to you, like for sure.
Yeah,
because
do it. Awesome. Because for me, it's like those skateboards. Like I have to order a lot. Like the minimum, you have to print 50 graphics, and they're like big giant stickers. They're heat transfers. Yeah. And then like so you have to order, if you're gonna set up a new graphic, you have to get like 50 of them. But then you can order a minimum of 25 boards. So usually what I do is I set up a new graphic. There's 50 of them, and then I order the first half decks, 25 decks. Yeah. And then I still have the other 25 transfers left over for the second order.
Fucking A.
Unless, like these two, I did 2 graphics at a time. So these ones have been lasting even longer.
For sure.
But short story long, long story short, it takes me forever to go through these damn boards because there's not that many skaters. And we don't have curb appeal open anymore. And there was a time where they were kind of going. Yeah. I want to start offering a deal like to the kids, like 3 decks and 3 grips for like $99 or something.
Promos or
like
something.
Hook them up, where they get like a little package instead of like $60 for a fucking board.
Why don't you add that to part of the like king of the curb, like fucking if you kickflip this, get this 25% off type of deal, like do that kind of shit.
Yeah, like 3 boards instead of just one, like legit. You get a flow package.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring up the numbers is like I would rather just put the boards out there and go through them and get to do more graphics.
Right.
And I don't do it
instead
for the money.
Instead of being like sitting on them and everything.
Yeah. I don't do it for the money. I'm not saying I'm made of money, but like I could go out there and hook some kids up. Like that would make me feel good anyway.
Legit.
Like
if you see a kid,
what am I gonna do with all these boards? They're just sitting around waiting for someone to buy one.
Some kid's rolling around in Alamo with some haggard ass board that has been like rammed into the curb 55 times and he barely has like a nose left on it. Like, dude, that would mean the world to him throwing him something like that,
Yeah.
But
and maybe like just do different ranges of stuff. That way, like there's like some, some stuff that like the lower, attainable.
Yeah.
Where like some people who are kind of more beginners could still like get a bite of the challenge and then have some bigger shit and then
for sure
have the reward a little higher.
Like pop shove off the orange or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
Fuck it.
Love it. Fucking A.
So how did you get into skating, dude? Like, where did that shit start?
again, it was like basically just drawn to it through seeing my dad, always around it, bands, blah 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 blah. The real like turning point where I actually got into it was I just moved up to my mom's house, like up in the Indian streets. And then I was just cruising around on my bicycle one day because I didn't have any friends at that time. I moved schools, I moved houses, like I had nobody basically.
Right.
I was riding my bike around the neighborhood, and then I just see some kid, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And I'm like riding my bike, and I got up closer to him, and he's like hitting a tennis ball on top of his house, like with a racket, and he's just bam, and like the tennis ball would just roll back down, and then he grabbed it again, and he just hit it again, and I was like, what the fuck? And I get up there, and I was like, what is happening? And then like, I don't know if you know him, but it was Nathan Pacheco.
Yeah.
It was Nathan Pacheco, and like we didn't really like vibe or anything at that time. It was just like kind of just doing the niceties. Like I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, just hitting a tennis ball. And I was like, aren't your parents gonna be mad at you? And he's like, no. And I was like, what the fuck? And that was about the extent of the conversation, I think. And then like one of the first few days in school, I went to Buena Vista, and then I had a keychain of Kenny from South Park.
Oh, sick.
And then the Nathan, he's like, it's Kenny. He's like, it's Kenny. And I was like, fuck yeah, it is. And like, we kind of just like ended up being friends from there some roundabout way. And then he was always into like BMX. I think at that time he was into motocross too.
Sick.
But I had a shitty little Walmart skateboard, like just something bought off the shelf.
Right.
And then he's like, let's go down to Washington Park. And I was like, it never even crossed my mind because I was kind of a sheltered kid. And like, I was always kind of weird. Like, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up.
Yeah.
And like, he's like, let's go down to Washington Park. And I was like, we can just do that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, let's just go. Let's skate down there. And I was like,
what do you got to lose?
All right.
Fuck it.
Let's go. And then we get there, and then like, it was just history from there, dude. It was like instant love. Like, I just showed up, and like, we sat kind of along back on the sidewall, like on the opposite side of the orange.
Yeah.
Or by like the little wall by the planter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was watching, I can't remember all who was there, but it was the old crew, like the original crew, like Ramon and Zeb and Dig 'em Smack, and
yeah.
There's a dude named Danny in there, like other than Danny Lucero, there's another Danny in there. And I was just like, fuck, man, like watching these guys go huge, and like Butch was all, and I was like, motherfucker, these guys are like all over the place. Like, how does that, I was trying to figure out the mechanics of the ollie, like, how does that even work? So like for the longest time, I would just kind of charge at a curb, and I just lift the nose up and kind of just case it.
Yeah.
And I had it timed perfectly where I just case it, and then I can lift my back truck over it.
Yep.
And like instantly those guys are just ragging on me, dude. like if you think I was a dick to you guys, like I don't know if I was ever a dick to you personally.
Not really,
like,
no.
From what I remember,
I have
like, I was
one
always
funny story, but it's just like it's a funny story.
Okay, we'll hold that one for later. Yeah, but
like it brings joy to my heart now, and it even did then. But it's just funny. It's just
I know
classic.
some of the people listening are probably felt personally victimized by me. I was a fucking asshole, dude. I know I was, but
that's just the nature of being a young man, a young teenager. You know,
right?
You're just like fucking raging.
Legit, there's method to the madness. Like, I caught so much shit from like Butch and Ramon. Zeb, he was always really quiet. Like, I don't remember Zeb ever fucking with me. But Danny was in that group too, Danny Lucero, and that guy was a fucking dick. Like,
and it's because he got
shout out
real
Danny,
good
I love
too.
you, bro, but like, damn, you're a fucking asshole to start with. But like, and everybody would just rag on me, dude. Because I would do, like, I was always really drawn to, like I said before, like my dad's era, like the era before me where they're doing like circus tricks or whatever, like flips with the hands, like finger flips and grabs and stuff like that.
Like old school freestyle.
Legit, yeah. But that was just in my head, that's what skateboarding was the old school, like just all that grab stuff, and then like a few manuals here and there, like reverts, like
more surf-esque,
no
kind of like where it all came from. Really.
Exactly. And then they ragged on me so hard because at that time, like freestyle was the thing. Like, that was the old shit. We don't do that shit no more. That's bullshit. That's
like, it wasn't cool to put your hands on your board.
Yeah, that's pussy shit. We don't fuck with that.
No feet on the ground.
They kept calling them circus tricks. They're like, little bitch with circus tricks. And I was like, man. But, I mean, shit, it formed my style, I think. Like, getting ragged on by those guys so much. And then, like, it's kind of like exactly where skateboarding came from with surfing. It's like, you don't skate or you don't surf somebody else's spot without their say-so, or like have like a chaperone or something at least, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I was addicted to you guys because I got treated like shit when I first started too. I mean,
it's just the way
it's like character development, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like necessary.
Yeah.
Especially back then.
I might have taken it to excess a few times, but
the funny story I have was everyone was like, let's mob to the bridge, you know, like skate session on the bridge. And like, I wasn't even at the level. I was not hitting the stairs. And I probably could have. I was like, I learned how to ollie, and like, maybe I was ollieing up and down the curves and maybe had a few tricks. And I was pretty familiar around the park too, because I had been lingering a while. Like, you know, like.
I think that's mainly why I never fucked with you, because like you and John Paul, like, I remember specifically, like, you fuckers stayed the fuck away from me, which is all I wanted. Like, you stayed out of my way. You didn't sit on the curb. I was trying to grind, from what I remember.
Yeah.
But, like, I think that's why I never gave y'all shit. And you're just like, I remember you guys just made me laugh all the time, because, like, you're like these two just, like, tall, lanky dudes. Like, you had the tall white tees on all the time. Always, like, fucking with some 3-6 Mafia shit. And I'm like, what the fuck?
John Paul was ahead of his time. Like, he was like, man, we'd watch skate videos.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, what's up with all these whack-ass, weird indie music, you know? Because a lot of skate videos. Now, in hindsight, it's cool, because it introduces you to all this weird off-the-wall shit. And
that's where I got a lot of my music taste.
And a lot of it works.
Yeah.
But at the time, we were like, he's like, why don't they use like some 666 or something? And then then all the Baker shit came out, all like the Baker 2G, and fucking Baker Has a Death Wish, and you know, even Baker 3, and like they would have like the parts where it was like fucking chopped and screwed, like 3/6 and stuff. And I was like, damn, he
chopped and screwed.
Like, he straight up called it, like it was like, it's happening now. But John Paul was funny. But like, we all mobbed to the bridge one time, and like I was like real little, you know, but like, you were doing something, don't remember what it was, but like your board went flying and it went down into the ditch, like the nasty, like underneath the bridge.
Yeah.
And like
no man's zone.
Zone. Like, I was sitting on the ground just on my board, probably just like sitting there watching you guys sesh, and then like your board slipped out and like it just went right past me. And I could have totally saved it. And like, it just, instead of saving it, I just like watched it roll down into the ditch, into like the shit water. Like, and then you went down there and got it, and then like you just walk up and you just look at me and you're like, thanks. And then just like run back up the steps, and I was just I had that moment like, oh, like I was supposed to save his board. Shit.
Could have been the hero of the day, but fuck.
Yeah, instead I totally ruined it. You're just like, thanks.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, it was like in slow motion, just rolling right past me.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even fast. It wasn't like a shark board, like flying or nothing. It was just.
I used to have dreams about that ditch. It's so weird. Like, I remember, like, because I was like raised by a single mom, so like we didn't have a whole lot of money around. But like, I got my necessities, of course. But like, it was far and few between when I would actually get a new skateboard, so I had to make it last.
Yeah.
And like, I remember just like that anxiety of when it actually would drop down into that ditch. I was like, mother. Because there's always like inexplicable amount of water down there.
Yeah.
For no reason. Like, it was like, dude, it hasn't even rained in like fucking 3 weeks, and there's still water down there. And like,
foul water.
I just remember like, damn it, dude, my grip tape's gonna be fucked for like the next like, I don't know, year until I get another skateboard. Or something.
Yeah.
But no, it was good times. Like, I don't remember that instance in particular, but I mean, I know how it is. I've done the same fucking thing.
No, it was funny as shit. It's really funny.
But no, like skateboarding, man, I love that shit. But I got ragged on. I got ragged on a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it was tough, man. Like, I would go home just like tail between my legs, like almost every day. Like, dude, those guys were fucking relentless.
Yeah.
So like, if you think I was mean to you, or like any of your listeners think I was mean to them, like, I was, but that was my park at that time. You know what I mean? Like, there was our generation that was our shit. That was our surf spot, if you will. But
oh yeah, you
have to pay your dues, get ragged on until you're put down or whatever, put down in the set.
I got it pretty early on. I was like, just stay out of their way.
Yeah.
You know, the big dudes are doing their thing. Just don't get in the way.
Right.
Like, I learned that pretty quick. And then I wasn't afraid of like getting like beat up or something. I was just the age difference was too much.
Yeah.
So I kind of had the little kid cheat mentality where I was just like, they're not going to do nothing to me.
I'm a little kid.
I was like, yeah, like what are they going to do, beat up a little kid? Like fuck those guys. Mm-hmm. And then I was also like little brother of like Josh and Ricky were my stepbrothers, Hodgkinson. They used to kind of skate. They were never like full like core skaters, but they did skate. They would go there.
They did some tricks and shit.
Like Danny Lucero and Butch was like good friends with those guys.
Oh, okay.
So like there was a lot of parties at my old stepdad's house. You went out there one time.
I've been there a few, yeah. Or 1 or 2 times. I think.
A couple times or something back in the day, but so like I knew like if anyone fucked with me, I was like Josh will come down here, and because I was Josh's little brother, I was instantly cool with Butch and Danny.
That's kind of the best way to be at like that old skate park time was just like kind of.
I was like, if anyone fucks with me, like Butch or Danny will tell those fuckers to fuck off, you know. And then plus I had my brother Julian too, who's not a skater, but like, he could definitely like if someone did something to me, he would come down there and be like, what the fuck, you know, and handle it. So like I knew I could, and I never took advantage of that. Like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna call the older brother card, like. You know, like
that's why
it's not like I was like I'm gonna be a punk ass bitch and then call my brothers down here. Yeah. But I just kind of knew in the back of my mind I was all, for one, I'm a little ass kid, and for two, like I got my brothers and I'm cool with Danny and Butch, so fuck all these guys.
You got people behind you. That's like probably the best possible thing that you could have, like just starting at the skate park is somebody behind you. Yeah. Like you know people already there before you show up.
It's a big one.
People to vouch for you.
It's just that classic. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
Kinda. It's like you could be a dope skater, but like you're still a kook.
Yeah.
And like I'm not even that good of a skater, but like these guys are my friends, so like, fuck you, you know.
but no, I mean like that's like the shit I was drawn to was like the old school. Like as far as skateboarding style is concerned, like what started the whole conversation. But like I really like the old style of skateboarding. Like that's what I thought it was. And then I see people over here doing like frontside flips and like. I remember I think I actually witnessed Butch's first tray flip that he landed. Like I think I was like, God damn, that motherfucker just landed that.
Damn.
And then like I remember he looked up and he's like, made sure people saw him. Because you have to like have validation, you know. But when I was coming up into the skate park, I was like really ridiculed for my old school style, circus tricks, all that other bullshit. And then I discovered a skater like through like a pro through I think it was like a 411 video. You remember those?
Oh yeah,
the 411s. It was John Cardiel.
Oh yeah,
you remember John Cardiel?
Oh yeah,
fucking ripper, dude. But
he's
like
legend.
I saw him and I was like, that's what I want to be. Like that dude. Like if we had transitions in Alamo, that's who I wanted to be. Like for sure.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any trends. Like we didn't have any transitions. So like it was kind of. I could still try to like skate really fast and charge like he did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't possible, basically.
Like, cause I was really skating like Burnside in Portland and all the concrete parks.
Yeah, like he was just
we skated mad streets too.
He was doing like melon grabs over the gnarliest tips, like so freaking high. Like it looked like he was just going warp speed every time like he was in a video. And I was like, that's the guy. Like that's the guy I want to try to be like. And then so like not really technical, just kind of old school still, like a lot of like grabs, stuff like that.
Cardiel's a name. Like if you drop Cardiel, you're like respect.
Oh
you know,
God,
like that's
dude.
just like that's a skater. Like you know, you just know.
I would watch the tech guys. Like I'm trying to remember some of the early ones like coming up. Like I don't want to drop any like obvious names like Muska or anything, but I mean he did kind of start some of like the tech shit. Like Peter Smolik. Was really tech.
Steve Olson, all those shorties guys.
All the shorties guys. Like some of the guys from Blind, like Gideon Choi.
Oh yeah,
that's an old name drop, but like he was really good at tech. I think Blind had a dude named like wasn't like Gershon Mosley.
Yeah,
wasn't he on Blind? Or am I tripping?
I think he might have been on Blind. He was on Dark Star when I knew of him.
Yeah, he was before that. I think he was.
I think he came from somewhere else. He came from somewhere else. Probably Blind.
He just had like a nasty style, dude.
Power.
Yeah, he was just like nothing was clean. It was just like he smashed all of his tricks.
Dude, in all the footage, he's just sweat. Like his shirts are just fucking sweat lines. You're like, damn, that dude was working.
Yeah, but then shortly thereafter that, I found the Zero Team.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I found the Zero Team, Jamie Thomas, and like before Chris Cole was on the team, like Adrian Lopez, and I know I'm missing a bunch of other people on there, but Jamie Thomas in particular, he was like that happy medium for me between like John Cardiel and then just having curbs and rails and hubbas and stuff to deal with, because like he was just going big.
He just put the large scale skateboarding on the map. Like he was one of them.
Legit. So that's what
just the
I was
gnar.
like, that's what I'm going for. Fuck flip tricks. I'm going for big gaps and rails. Like,
sick.
And that's like pretty much how I think I went about most of my skating. Like, of course, you got to learn the basics, trays, and all that. Well, you got to learn flip tricks, or else you're kind of just boring.
You got nothing to throw down the gap. You can only ollie so many gaps. Like the gap has to be super gnarly for an ollie to be like, all right, that's the trick. But otherwise, you got to do a trick. 180, shove it, a kickflip, something.
But I saw like that footage of him trying the leap of faith in California, like at the high school in California, and I was just like,
mind blown
for even trying that. And I was like, good lord, dude.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's my guy. Like, John Cardiel's still cool, but Jamie Thomas is my guy now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I kind of switched sides real quick, but I mean, it's what we had like available to us. We didn't have any transitions.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Jamie Thomas came to Alamo one time.
That's what I had been told. Like,
at least
I think
one time.
Somebody showed me footage of like Wee Man and Jamie Thomas for some fucking reason we're together. Like, that's fucking odd.
I've heard like Diggs will tell you, but he's seen the girl and chocolate guys came through here one time.
Yeah.
And they went to his dad's shop or something. So, and then like they skated Washington, and he's like, like talking about costing like front blunt on the orange and shit, and like, but Jamie Thomas either ollied or kickflipped the double set in front of the college. Dom kickflipped it.
That's what I heard. I heard Dom kickflipped it.
Because I remember Diggum Smack being like, I don't think I've never seen anyone touch it. The only person I've ever seen touch it was Jamie Thomas. And you're just like, casual name drop, Like you think he's going to say someone from like, some guy that he knew, but, But he's like, I think the only guy was, to recall, Jamie Thomas.
He's just always dropping it.
Jamie Thomas. You're like, but yeah. He came here.
I always had grand plans of backside flip in that set too, and I got really close a couple of times, but I figured it's time to call it quits on that, because I almost got myself lit up a few times on that stair set.
Yeah.
But I regret that. I wish I would have went back and done it, but
the 3 flat 3, or the big giant 4 flat 4
on the front of the college that goes into the street.
Yeah.
I think it's like a 4 flat 4.
That one.
Is that it?
That's the one we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But that one, I almost backside flipped it one time.
Damn, so you did jump down that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cool. Like I ollied down it, I frontside flipped it. I think I even shove it, tail grabbed it. I think. Fuck, I can't remember. But I tried to backside flip it. I landed on the board like 2 different times, but shot out into the road. And then I think one of my shoulders separated the last time I did it. And I was like, fuck, all right, I got to call it quits for now. Like, like you get to that point where you're like, it's not getting better. Like, it's just getting worse. Like, with every try, it keeps getting worse. So you're like, all right, dude.
You're like, I'm done.
And I just never went back, and I was always kind of bummed about that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, at least you could say you jumped on that thing.
That's life. That's life.
Even just ollieing that thing, you're like, at least I went from the top over it and landed and rolled away. Like, that's gnarly.
Yeah. I always had aspirations to go bigger and bigger and bigger. And like I remember, like there was a time when I looked like, this is how dumb I am. I stood at the top of that stair set and was like, I bet you I can get into the road from here. It's like, absolutely not. There's no fucking way it was happening. But like that was like my mentality. You know what I mean? Like go bigger, go harder, go faster, higher. Yeah. I was always trying it.
That's sick, dude. Yeah, the speed is there. You got downhill runway for days.
Oh yeah.
And if you just pop and hold it, like you can fly. Like you could easily clear another. It could be a triple set, and you'd have enough runway and landing for sure. Like
you're not held back by anything like other than like speed wobbles. Really, like you're just because it's all downhill the whole way.
Speed wobble and just commitment.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
But no, it was good times back then. But it was always like Jamie Thomas was like in my heart. Like, not to like fanboy too much on him, but like still, like I still see him skate, and I'm like, this motherfucker is old as fuck, and he's still like,
dude.
God damn.
We went to the Zero demo a couple years ago in El Paso. It was a Zero like U.S. tour.
Still killing it.
It was the sickest demo. It was because I never actually went to those hardly. I only went to like 2 or 3 of those demos ever.
Yeah.
But for some reason we went to that one, and it was the Zero team at an indoor park, punk rock band. Just playing, and like we were all sessioning the fucking indoor little warehouse they had.
Yeah,
it was like Crook's skate shop, and it was like a warehouse they had separately from their shop.
Yeah.
And then, like, eventually it was like someone had a megaphone or microphone. They were like, all right, everyone, get off the floor. Like, make way for Zero skateboards. And we're like, fuck yeah. So everyone just gets the fuck off the field, you know? And then, like, the fucking punk band just starts, like, just clicks in and just starts jamming. And then, like, just all of them, dude. I mean, I get the chills thinking about it.
That's my jam right there.
They were just fucking ripping that place a new one. Like, Tommy Gonzalez and Jamie Thomas and all these fools. And
that would have been, like, the culmination.
Damn.
I'd have been like, oh, my God.
It was a really cool moment. I was like, damn, why have I not done more of this? It was like, you like those 411 videos you were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
They would do those sections, and like different sections, like profiles or industry, whatever. And then like switch stance or chaos and montage. And then like they might feature a new skate park or whatever, or a demo. And it reminded me of like a cutscenes in a 411 where it's like Zero demo, El Paso. And it's just like fucking, like it felt like you were in one of those moments. I was like, this shit is fucking sick.
Legit.
It was so dope with a live band and everything. It just fits so well.
I only went to like, I was only in one of those demos. It was God damn it, Birdhouse. As weird as it was, like it was Birdhouse, and like Tony Hawk was supposed to be there, which at that time I didn't give a fuck about Tony Hawk. Like I got tired of people always asking about him. Like, how many times have you gotten like, you like skateboarding? What do you think about Tony Hawk? How many times have you gotten that?
Yeah, a lot. There's way more to it than that.
Shut the fuck up. Fuck Tony Hawk. Anyways, Tom Green was there.
Oh,
do you remember Tom Green?
Oh, yeah.
He was there because, like, at the time, like, I guess him and Tony Hawk were friends or something like that, and he saw him skateboarding in a couple of his, like, movies or something, and then Birdhouse sponsored him. So, yeah, Tom Green was there at I think it was, like, the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso.
Dope.
And then it was, like, all the other Birdhouse guys at the time. I
like
can't
Willie
remember.
Santos,
Dude, I was so stoked to see Willie Santos.
He was the street OG at the time. So sick.
They had a little car. It was like a bug or something.
It might have been Reynolds' day on Birdhouse, too. I don't know, but damn.
No. If Reynolds was there, I would have fucking lost my shit. Yeah. Reynolds wasn't there at that time. But,
there was a what? Bump to bar? What were you saying?
Wait, hold on. I think Reynolds was there. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyways, there was like a little car in the middle. Like their main thing in the center of their little demo was a car with like 4 different ramps going each way.
Yeah.
And like these fools were just like doing gnarly kick flips over them, doing like frontside flip over them. Like,
360 grabs and shit.
They had a rail on top of the car, and Willie Santos came and just like overcrooked it. I was like, God damn, dude. And then fucking weird-ass Tom Green comes up and rolls up the ramp and just climbs through the car window and gets out the other side of the window and then just jumps back on his board and, like, goes down the transition.
Everyone's all, yeah!
Hey, fuck yeah, Tom Green, fuck yeah. I miss that guy, man.
Because he had the Tom Green show, like, back then, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like MTV.
I think he was, like, just done with all of that stuff. I think it was, like, right at the end of, like, his acting career, pretty much.
He's like cruising around in a van doing podcasts like mobily.
I've seen that, and like he's got his own beer or vodka or something. Like he's doing all kinds of weird shit, and I'm like,
cool.
What you'd expect Tom Green to do, I guess, other than like fucking with animal carcasses and shit, like he used to do in his movies.
Yeah. He's a pretty dope skater. Yeah, let's see him skate, and I was like, damn, you know, like you catch random clips of him, and you're like, that made him way cooler all of a sudden.
He was already funny. Like he was doing a lot of those. Like there's a little like parking ledge and shit, and he was doing a lot of those lay back like board slides on it. Yeah. And then he'd like pop out and do like the hand flip and then jump back on. Like it was actually pretty cool to see.
He made it look good. Yeah. For whatever reason.
He was smooth with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, what is this guy doing? It was like funny, but like actually he's doing some good shit at the same time.
It's crazy how like skateboarding brought a lot of those people to their life.
Yeah.
I think it brought all of us to our life. Like it's a really pivotal thing in your life to like get a skateboard and fall into that culture because you're never the same.
Completely.
And I think like 9.5 out of 10 times like it's for the better.
True.
Because like even like Chris Pontius and like all those Jackass dudes and Steve-O and like
basically all the Jackass dudes
all came from
other than
skateboarding.
Knoxville pretty much.
Yeah.
And Preston.
And then it turned into that. But if they had never found skateboard and skateboard culture, because they even talk about it like Big Brother magazine and Jackass.
Big Brother wouldn't have been a thing. Yeah.
It was all like a skate video without the skateboarding.
Right. But they're just being retards the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, PC. We're supposed to say
Oh, shit. We'll edit it out. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, yeah. Beep. Anyways. But yeah, dude, like, do you ever think of what it would be like if you never got into skateboarding? Like, where you'd be at? I think about that shit all the time.
It's really hard to imagine.
I see blank. I see nothing there. I'm like, I can't see what my life would have been like if I never got into skating.
For real.
I probably would have been one of those boring ass fucking people, like just like nothing to talk about, no life experiences, just like I just survived.
Went to school, played football, and
yeah.
got a job, you know.
I've lived a little bit.
I eat sometimes.
Like every once in a while, I'll eat some food.
I'll eat, you know,
Right.
occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally can't imagine it, and it's not even to say like just to be like, oh, like, you know, I'm so attached to it. I try to remove my self biases from it and be like, what would you have done? And it's really hard to.
Yeah.
You know, like it's shaped me. It's brought me to all these avenues and friends. And
right.
Even just down to work ethic, like having to try over and over to get what you need, to get what you want, and like realize what work is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like skateboarding teaches you like
self-discipline.
It's the ultimate teacher, you know. Like if anything has ever showed me anything that's like a what would you call it? Like cross-cutting or parallel to like all other life lessons.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a kung fu or something, you know, or training MMA or something. Like that shit can you know, it's one thing to do.
That's a pretty profound fucking way to look at it. But yeah, I mean, you're exactly.
It's completely different, but the discipline that you would get, like if you train for like a black belt, like you get more than just learn how to fight and defend yourself. Like you get like how to work,
absolutely,
a network of friends and like experience. And I think it's just like along the lines of a martial art almost.
Absolutely. No, yeah, you're 100% right there. Because like I was in martial arts, like I was in Bushido kickboxing and shit. But like I've always been in independent sports. Like, I realized that later on in life. Like, I think I did baseball for one season when I was really young, like 6 or 7. And I was like, I don't really care. Like, I remember I would get really mad if we lost. And, like, I tried my hardest. And, like, I actually, like, got on base and made, like, home runs or whatever the fuck.
Your contribution was significant. But
you just see little Timmy off in the corner that he's like, I tried my best, guys. And I'm like, you motherfucker, dude. Like,
you didn't, though.
I've always been, like, quietly competitive. So, like, I've always been drawn to, like, independent sports. Like, to where if you win, it's because you did it. Mm-hmm. Or if you fucked up, it's because you fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, like, that's why, like, I was in gymnastics. Like, I was, like, a state champion gymnast. And then, like, after that, like, I kind of just randomly, like, ended up in Bushido kickboxing, which my mom's friend was in it for an aerobics class.
Sick.
And she's like, you want to go to kickboxing? And I was like, yeah, fucking I'll try it. I'm done with gymnastics. Might as well try it. And then ended up doing really good there. Ended up getting a black belt there.
Damn.
And then...
How long did that take?
Honestly, it wasn't that long. Like, did I deserve my black belt? I don't know. But my sensei was basically like my older brother. Yeah. As bad as it was to say. Like, he was basically like my older brother. And, like, he was taking me out and, like, Mom, if you're listening, sorry. He was getting me drunk at, like, 12, 13 years old, dude. Yeah. Like, it was bad. But... Like, honestly, like, I got taken out of the kids' class because a lot of the parents were complaining that I was hurting their kids. And I was like, well, isn't that the fucking point? Aren't we supposed to be beating the shit out of each other? Yeah. But they put me in the adult class. And
was it, like, sparring to an extent or, like, a percentage
legit,
of a...
Like, probably, I'd say a quarter of the time we were actually sparring. The rest of the time it was...
training and drills and working out.
Like, making sure you had your reflexes, like going under the rope, throwing uppercuts, heavy bag, speed bag, headache bag, all that other shit. Conditioning, fucking beating on yourself constantly, like tightening up your muscles, like so if you get kicked in the arms, like it doesn't matter, like that kind of shit. But like I got taken out of the kids class, put into the adult class, and then they had me sparring adults, which a lot of them had to be on their knees. So I'm like, I don't even know why the fuck I'm doing this. I want to go back to beating the shit out of kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like you didn't really fit in either one.
Yeah,
like
but then, like, Alamogordo, being Alamogordo, there's not a lot of
small
selection.
Pool.
Yeah, so we didn't really have much option. But from there, the sensei, he was a kid himself, basically. He ended up being a black belt up in Philadelphia. He migrated down here because he had family and just wanted to try to run his own dojo, which... the original sensei was kind of just passing him the torch at that time.
Yep. So it goes.
Yeah. So he kind of took me under his wing and kind of made me like his little brother. And like we'd go to like parties at like Elephant Butte or like a house party at one of their friends' houses or something like that. And I started partying really young, man. Like, looking back, I'm like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough.
Me too. A lot of us did. But again, it's just kind of like, it's not good, and you wouldn't want it for your kids or nothing, but it's like, it kind of helped us grow up a little bit.
Dude, like,
because you learn some shit early, and you see some shit early, and then you're like, damn, like, here's what to do, here's what not to do. Yep. And like, I think it's important to have those fucking lessons where you're like,
100%.
You got that one the hard way, bro. Like, you got a little too shitty that night, and there it was, and like,
here's,
or whatever.
Like, I've always been really good at, like, looking at my friends and, like, watch the mistakes that they do, and I'm like, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
I remember I was a 12-year-old looking at this room full, like, this party full of, like, grown adults, like 21, 22-year-old fucking people. And
which at that time they're way
they are adults. I mean, pretty much they're kids, but they're adults to you at that time. And I'm like, I don't want to be like any of these fucking guys. They're all kind of dumb. You know what I mean? Like,
bunch of bros with plaid shirts and beards. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, like, they're just like doing dumb shit, and I'm like I see friends trying to fight friends. That's one of the things I hate the fucking most. Is when friends try to fight friends. Like, it hits a nerve with me for some reason, and I have no idea why. But I can't stand it when homies are just like get all like crazy with each other. They're trying to fight, and I'm like, dude, you're fucking retarded. You're friends.
You're friends. I describe it like a detour. You're like, what's the long-term goal? Do you guys want to be friends and like love each other? Right. Like, probably. Like, do you still want to be brothers at the end of this road? Like, at the end of this life, do you want to still be brothers? And we're like, yeah. So why the fuck go down this other road where we're gonna have all this drama and bullshit when you're just gonna have to make up and apologize and
or it's just awkward to just hang out for the next 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, dude. But
like, if you really have to have it out with someone, maybe. But I mean, come on. Most of the time, you can just be like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go over here, you go over there, and we'll catch up later. Like, you've had too much.
Yeah. But I was always good at like spotting the bullshit. I just see it and be like, you guys are fucking stupid.
It's dumb.
Stupid asses. So, but yeah, it did help you grow up quicker. You like, I got my partying done early, I guess. But I mean, still didn't really help the fact that like I was drinking at 12 and 13 years old. But
no,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I started kind of doing that a little bit too. Like, I remember getting beer. I remember my stepbrother being like, you want a beer? And I was like, yeah, like, have one. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how the fuck they drink that. Or like, I'd be chilling with my dad sometimes in his place at Arizona, and he'd like be like, you want to taste? I'm like, and I'd be like, oh, and he'd smell like beer, and I'm just like, I don't get how those guys do it. But like, one time I had someone get us some 40s, and then I actually stomached enough beer to like feel the effects.
To get a buzz.
And then I was like, oh, light bulb moment. I was like, that's why they drink beer. And then I was like, 40s are cool, And then
I almost bought a 40 tonight just for old time's sake. I almost bought a 40 of oldie or Mickey's because like Mickey's was like the shit. Like me and Danny and Andrew Pion, for some reason, we were always fucking drinking 40s and Mickey's. And like Jamie Johnston. Like, do you remember Jamie Johnston?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like we were always drinking 40s and Mickey's. Or like if it wasn't Mickey's, it was like oldie.
Yeah.
And I guess it was like the gangster shit, like, cause
it was cheap.
Of course, like Danny was all into like hip hop and shit at the time, being a DJ and whatnot. Yeah. And he actually turned me on to a lot of music too, because before that I was basically like strictly metal, like that was it. But he like introduced me to the rap side of things, and then that was good. Now I'm happy that like that we spent all the time that we did, because like I actually got out of my metalhead little world and like experience some other shit.
There's a world of music out there, man, and just goddamn information and just cool stuff if you're open-minded and like
I'm still discovering it, dude. Like still too. To this day, like I like just recently started getting into like light country. I don't want to say like shit kicker country, but like Chris Stapleton, dude. Like I fucking love that dude.
Nice.
He fucking plays the guitar like a blues, like just fucking. I'm really into chunky. I like chunky like guitar. And he does that really well, and his fucking vocals are insane. Like no matter what he fucking sings, I'm like, God damn, this motherfucker.
He just hits that fucking spot.
Yeah, but
damn.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I've had a lot of people actually say that. A lot of the homies are like, yeah, it was good country. And then my friend Keith, the other guitar player in our band, I'm the other guitar player. He's the guitar player. Okay, so
forgot about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. He's the guitar player. The guitar player for our band, but he's like, he can play all this technical sick ass shit and just like lightning fast, and I mean he can play it all, kind of, pretty much. But he's like, man, I just listen to chill shit when I'm in the car, and he's like a lot of country and stuff, and like Luis, you know, he's like telling me about Luis would know all the country songs on the radio and shit. Like we go out to eat, and he's singing all the words, and at first I thought he was fucking with me, and then he's like, no, like I get down with this shit though. But I'm like, oh, he's just so funny.
Seeing him in an Ariat vest and cowboy boots, I'm like, bro, what the fuck happened to you? But I mean, I guess that's been him all along. Like from talking to him, like he's all about fucking country. I guess
it's kind of like a one that I can think of is Aaron Lewis.
Yeah. From Stained.
Yeah. And people are like, well, it's crazy. He went from like rock and roll to country or whatever. And I'm like, it's probably like he went from country to rock and roll, like back to country.
Yeah, I mean,
because he's always been that way, probably.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
I
you're
don't know
from
the
the South, which I'm guessing that's where he's from. Like,
I don't know the guy.
He's gonna have roots in country. Like, there's no getting away from that.
No.
Even if you're like a death metal band and you're from Alabama, like you have some kind of country background.
Yeah.
You definitely do. And like you kind of try to act like you don't. Like I was raised on like George Strait and Garth Brooks and fucking
Alan Jackson,
all the name drops country wise, but at the same time I was always drawn to like the other shit that like my dad was playing, like either on his like radio in his truck or like actually playing in the shed back, like in the back with his band. You know what I mean?
Oh, sick! Yeah, I remember you had a boombox one time at the park in the dome, and it was like Nirvana, Nevermind or something.
More than likely, yeah.
On like a portable battery powered like boombox, straight 90s style.
More than likely,
you were just like ripping the stage like to some Nirvana, and I was like, that's fucking tight, you know. Yeah. I was like, that's sick.
That was my shit, dude.
Yeah, man.
But even still, like, I grew up like with my stepdad a little bit after my parents split, and like this fucking guy, like he used to be a Marine. Like he was pretty much the highest tiered like enlisted Marine that you could be. It's like Master Gunnery Sergeant, which is up there. And like he was never like really like military like with us. He kind of just let us be, like he knew his role, like I'm stepdad, I'm not your dad, and like let your mom do your discipline and all that other shit. But he would have this computer that was almost 24/7 just playing 50s music, because that's the era he was from.
Yeah.
So like Elvis Presley was going all fucking day long. There was like Buddy Guy and like Lead Belly and like a lot of bluesy type of shit going on, and like I was just like, fucking can't stand this shit all the time.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash was playing constantly, and I was like, can't fucking stand Johnny Cash. And then it's weird the circle that you go through, because like now I come back and I'm like, dude, fucking love Johnny Cash. Like of course he's like one of the originals, like one of the name drops that you
listen
to.
Oh yeah.
And like
the old acquired taste kind of thing. Like you weren't in the right headspace at the time.
Exactly.
But when you go full circle, you're like, oh yeah.
But my music taste has gone like every fucking where. Like my playlists are hilarious.
It's like funny. Like Lane brings out the boombox when we skate all the time at the park and shit. He's blasting, and he put it on like Spring Break '95, and like all this shit was on. But you're like, it's so sick.
He's like jock jams for days.
At the time, it was like kind of cheesy maybe, but like now it just brings you. It's like so nostalgic. You're like, damn, like that song again, like for real. It vibes so hard with the skating. I'm like, couldn't have picked a better station.
Yeah. I was just talking with one of my coworkers the other day. I was like, bro, like, my first cassette tape was Jock Jams Volume 1 of 95.
Sick.
And it was like, everybody dance now. Like, I was going through the songs, like, just like what was all on there, because I couldn't remember. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, it takes two to make a thing go right. I was like, God damn, dude. Like, I was jamming to this shit. But
that's awesome.
Fucking music makes the world go around, man. Love it.
Goddamn sure does.
Yeah.
Any good like jams like lately, like something off the top of your head?
I haven't really heard anything new. I know Megadeth is coming out with a new album, and I've heard little snippets of it, and god damn it, like those motherfuckers are still just fucking killing it. Like they sound like they always have, just like Slayer, and it's a bummer, dude, because like Metallica, like, you know, like we fucking love Metallica.
Oh yeah.
Favorite band. I know there's gonna be a lot of hate for that one.
Favorite band. You're like, yeah, like it's like the lineage. It's definitely a part of the family tree.
Legit.
Like if you trace music back, they were a significant chunk of the family tree that is metal.
If most people are really honest with themselves, like most big rock or metal bands within the last 20, 30 years, they have some sort of homage to Metallica in like their whole whatever. Even if they hated them.
Yep.
Like, even if you hated Metallica, you still have a certain love for them. You know what I mean? Like, it might be a guilty pleasure because you might talk shit about them all the time.
Right.
But their big 4 albums,
you can't deny
that. Like, no. you can hate on the Black Album. You can for fucking sure hate on Saint Anger. Like, that thing was just a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
And then their last album they did, which was like, yeah, like, you're trying too hard, bro. Like, just go back to the old shit.
Right.
And you're good. But, like, I think they got too much, like, media. They got too much attention for the Black Album when they totally changed format. That's when everybody started, like, listening to them, like, of the newer generation. And then, like, they kept trying to recreate that spark, and it just keeps getting worse. Just fucking stop.
They
just stop. Stick with the originals.
They're just a golden rock band, though, because if you ever listen to them do covers, they just nail it. Like,
Garage Inc., dude. Yeah, Garage Inc.
Nail it.
Every single fucking song on
and
Garage Inc.
And they're such
a
good band, like a rock band. Yep. Like, you're like, damn, you know, and the material that they write. And it's like, when they did the Black Album, that was like pure. You know, yeah. They didn't do it to be like this or that. I mean, it was a big change, and I always say, you know, change is like, what did I expect? I ask myself this question. I'm like, what did I expect? Things to never change? You're like, these dudes at that time, they were like, you know, there's the documentary and stuff about it, but it's like a fork in the road. You know, they had like loss, like life and death, you know, losing their bass player, Cliff Burton and shit.
Burton gone, yeah.
And then just like divorce or like long-term relationships and problems with drugs and alcohol.
Hetfield going to rehab.
All of that coming back full circle, and then just like living in that studio for like a year and a half or whatever it is, and like writing those songs. It came from them, honestly.
Yeah.
And you're like, the world received how it did, and it's like, whew, I mean, damn, it was lightning. It was just lightning in a bottle.
It legit was, but like, what really bums me out is like, I go and listen to like any Slayer album. I listen to any Megadeth album. I know Iron Maiden isn't putting out like really stuff anymore, but like, any album, even if they come out with it in recent years, they were like huge bands in the late 80s, early 90s. It still sounds like them. And fucking like, I got like a thorn in my side about Metallica. Like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Stop trying to be like the new version of you. Just be like you. Be like how you started.
It kind of did go like dad rock in a little bit, you know.
So gross.
Where you're like, go back to the heavy.
Yeah.
And then like go back to the 7-8 minute songs with the dual fucking harmonies and like just go all out, you know. But
and then with like Stranger Things coming out, I was just talking to
that's sick.
I was talking to some people earlier about it, and like how Homeboy played Master of Puppets and the Upside Down and whatever, and I was like, motherfucker, dude, like, that is so sick. I was so happy about it, and I was like, fucking A, like, I was happy.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't pick, like, fucking Enter Sandman or some fucking shit.
Like, that is the title track of the heaviest. That's a pivotal moment in metal, where you're like, at the time, it was like, pretty much the gnarliest shit you could find.
Totally. But the aftermath of that, like, I can't go on any social media without hearing fucking Master of Puppets. And that's my favorite Metallica song of all time.
Yeah.
And then I just can't fucking stop hearing this shit and people overplaying the fuck out of it, and it's like over commercialized again, and I'm like, you motherfuckers. God damn it.
Yep. The plus side is it's like, oh, Spotify charts fucking blah blah blah. It's like Master of Puppets is way up there, like along with Kate Bush running up the hill or whatever.
That is like, incredible. See, that aspect of it I dig, but like,
you got like little kids like discovering Metallica,
right?
And you're like, all right, that's sick, and it's gonna spark.
And then hopefully like it'll bring musicians up like a whole nother generation, like playing older music, but like in the newer times, like.
Some people will be like, oh, rock and roll's dead, and you're like, never, bro.
Absolutely fucking not.
Everything, if you trace it all back, it's all rock and roll. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what Guitar Hero was really cool, too, because I remember being like, fuck that game.
Oh, it sparked, yeah.
But, like, the coolest, I remember having a moment where being like, wait a minute. Like, these dudes and these chicks at this party would not have ever gotten into, like, maybe these songs, but because they were playing that video game, staring all red-eyed at that screen, like at fucking 3 in the morning, I'm gonna get that song. Just fucking, they're like in love with these rock bands now.
I was mildly addicted to that
I'm like
game
sick, dude. It showed so many people like that side of things again.
True that.
Like, damn. So shout out to that game, because I never really liked it too much, because I was always like, it's not a real guitar though, and I was like a dick, you know. Also, it doesn't make sense because like the easy mode is like it's not enough, and then like the medium or like hard mode is like it's too much, and I'm trying to play what I hear, but I like press the buttons and it just doesn't match, and I was like,
that was
asshole.
like a big gripe about Guitar Hero, is like people that know how to play guitar had so much like of a hard time with it, and then total dumbasses like myself were just like, fuck yeah, through fire and flames, bro.
Some of it did make sense though. I remember like at first, the first time I ever played it was Lane's apartment on like Moonglow somewhere over there when he had the Pines Apartments or something.
Funny thing, I moved into that apartment several years after he did. I remember the landlord showed me that apartment like as I was moving in, and I was like, God damn it, this is fucking Lane's apartment. Like he had his lizard over here and fucking just like cigarette smoke and like.
I remember being like super half stoned though, and being like, you know, like I was always cool with him. I'm way cooler with him now, but back then it was like, I don't know. I'm not saying like he didn't like me. Like we were cool, but we just weren't like, we weren't on that level yet. Like
we all had our egos back then. Like we had our like cliques and like.
He was definitely cool. Yeah, you know? But I just like, I was kind of like, damn, like he invited me over, you know, like that's cool, you know.
Dope.
I was like, yeah. So I went over there and like we got stoned or something, and I was like. Definitely not like new to the weed stuff, but still, you know, kind of amateur compared to those guys, you know.
Like doing smoking, like hot knives and shit. Like,
and I was just like super ripped out of nowhere, and then like he's like, dude, check out this game though, and like we start playing, and then I'm like sick, like it's like a guitar, and like I had never, this is literally the first time I'd seen it, and he's like, dude, check it out, and I'm like fucking sick, and he was playing it, and then like he gave me the controller, and then like. I was just playing the buttons, and he's like, dude, you have to pick too.
You have to pick.
Because I was like going through the whole song without even. I was like,
not even strumming or nothing.
Oh, but then I remember like making the dots, because they have a gap where like it'll be one button, skip a button, and another button.
Oh yeah.
And that's like on the guitar, it's like a power chord or a bar chord. Yeah. And it's like a very common shape, like, and it's in all kinds of music, especially like rock music. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, they're like power chords. Fucking, oh. Like, I was like, sick. It makes sense. So it does make some sense, you know. It actually probably makes a lot more sense than I would give it credit. But I remember struggling with it, being like, it's not a real guitar.
That was a big thing. I remember that. A lot of guitar players were struggling with it. I mean, it was a great game. Like, it really was. Like,
it's dope.
If you break it down, like, and then what we were just talking about, it introduced a whole new culture, or a whole new generation to a lot of good music.
Yeah, music that they wouldn't have found without that game.
Legit, yep. I just wish they would have had some guar on it or something.
Oh man, yeah.
Can you imagine that shit? Like a bunch of like 9-year-olds like watching guar videos.
Oh, dude. Guar crossed my mind earlier. I was like, man, because I was camping with some homies last night, and today before I left, like we were kind of just playing cards, and I was asking them random questions. I was like, if you could go back to any point in time, like. You know, time travel. Like, no, you were time traveling, and then something got fucked up, and you're gonna get stuck at a point in time. Your current age, exactly how you're dressed. Yeah. Where do you prefer to get stuck as a 30-something-year-old? Exactly how you are
70s.
Now. Yeah.
So I'm an old soul. I would love to be in the 70s. So I should have been born. Like I should have been around in the 70s.
You're what? 33, 34?
About to be 35 in a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you'd be 35 in 1975.
I'm with it. Sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because then I can see like when I feel times were still good. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to talk shit about America and be like America's fucking trash, which a lot of people knows it is right now. But it was like a good time. You know what I mean? Like,
very prosperous.
Segregation was like getting split up. Like fucking like everybody was mingling with each other. Like all
it was post 60s.
Legit.
With
so
the
like
whole human rights and like oneism and hippie shit.
So like everybody was mingling. All cultures were getting together. There was some great fucking music going on. There was really loose laws. Like
economy's booming.
Economy's going. Like
it was like the 200th birthday of America, right? Mm-hmm. Like 1976 from 1776.
It was a great time, man.
So it was like happy birthday America.
Yeah.
Like
I've been called an old soul my whole life, and I honestly feel like that. I never really. That's why I always hung out with older people.
Yeah.
Like, I hung out with like people my age or a little bit younger, and I'm like, y'all are fucking.
You had a few, like you had a couple friends.
Oh yeah.
But then the majority of your friends were the older guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I was too.
Yeah.
It was the nature of the skating and shit too.
Yeah.
And just
True
like,
that. True that.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
Fucking
I've got friends that are my parents' age. Some of my best friends, guys I've worked for, like the dude who owns Pizza Mill, like his family, like, you know, and guys that I met through working there. I consider them some of my best friends, and they're like my parents' age.
100%, dude.
Their 50s.
There's a lot to
And then my
be,
bandmates, those guys are in their 50s and 60s, and they're like family, you know.
Yeah.
Like, damn, these guys are my bros.
Huh? Like we were talking about earlier, like at the beginning of the whole thing is like I like learning from people, and older people are a wealth of knowledge. Like they were like the last generation that actually like had knowledge. If you think about it now, like a lot of the newer kids, like they don't retain a lot of information either, because they can just go like, I can Google it real quick and I don't need to remember it. Like it's Google's there. Like I actually asked a teacher. I worked with a teacher at Pizza Patio for a little while, and I was like, I'm not gonna name drop her, but I was like,
I think I remember who you're talking about.
I was like, do you feel like kids are getting dumber? And she's like, yep. Like didn't even hesitate. She's like,
yep. 100%.
And I was like, and I had a conversation with her. I was like, why do you think that is? And like, that's exactly what she said. She's like, they don't need to know anything anymore. They can search it at any time. They can Google it. They don't need to remember anything. So like,
There's no recall.
It. So that's why the older generation is fucking awesome. Like, they just know shit.
Yeah.
Or at least most of them act like they know shit.
If anything, it's just the experience.
They could be full of shit.
Because even you could be a young person who does retain and know a lot of stuff, but you just haven't been. It's the been there, done that. Or no, it's the you'll understand when. You'll understand when.
Right.
That used to annoy me when I was a kid, because I was like, dude, I can imagine though. Yep. I can like. I get what you're saying, but then...
But you can't, though.
I've crossed certain paths where I'm like, no, they were right.
Yep.
Like, I don't understand until you fucking lived it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. You get what they're saying.
Like, they always told me, like, all your old injuries are going to come back to haunt you. And I'm like, fuck you. No, they're not.
Too tough to die.
Now I'm like, it hurts walking upstairs. I'm like, ow, my knees.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I treated my body like a rental, bro. But it was weird. Like, I'm kind of like an antisocial type of person. Like... I'm really reclusive. Like, I like my own personal time. Like, I'm cool with being by myself. But, like, people would, like, rip me out. Like, let's go to the bar. And, like, I didn't want to. But I'm like, all right, fuck it. What else am I doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I'd always find myself, like, just talking to the old man in the corner at the bar. Just taking in what he has to say. You know what I mean? Because, like, at the very least, he's telling me some cool shit that he may or may not have made up. But it's still interesting, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then I talk to people my age, and I'm like, there's like nothing of substance here. I don't really care about what you're saying.
I was hanging out with a couple of my older buddies, and I mean, they're older to me. They're not real old, but yeah, like I said, in their 50s, and they were talking about logging, and they used to do logging together. These two guys, and the way that their conversation was spitballing off one another, it was just priceless. Because if it was one guy telling the story, it would have been a great story. I mean, it's not even just a story. It's like what really happened.
They were backing each other up.
They worked together through the years, and like you could just see the brotherhood of like and the truth. And you're like, there's no way this is made up. Like it's like because of the way that they're like,
both validating the story.
Yeah, and I was like, God damn. I was like, I wish like not that everything needs to be recorded and documented, but it was one of those things where you're like, I wish other people could hear this because it's so good.
You wish you could pull out the microphone real quick.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, this is so good. Like, and they went on for like an hour, and like Jesus Christ. But it's so good. But yeah, older people, man, like
I'd always just talk to the old people, man. I'd talk to them, like, just say, man, what's going on? And like, you wouldn't even have to go farther than that. They'd break out and tell you a whole fucking story. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm here now. Like, what do you have to say, sir? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool that way. I don't know. But
that's sick, dude.
I guess I'm like nostalgic on the old times that I never lived, which I just saw like videos and shit and just stories from older people, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I'm a sucker for nostalgia too, man. Like there's something about it where you're like, where does this all come from, and how did we get here? And
like the whole orange curb deal.
Why does this stuff mean so much to me? Or like, you know, like the curbs,
because it does. It's like
the water
it's an
tower
identity
or something. You're like, well, that thing. It's just like, I don't know why, but I love that thing so much, you know, because it's old. It's just been standing out there, dude, day and night, rain or shine, just getting beat to shit by the elements, and it's like a symbol of like longevity.
Is it a functioning water tower?
I think it's not functioning, but it could be. I guarantee they could probably like retrofit it and do it, but we're on a whole different water system now. But it's just like it's a symbol of this town. It's like it's iconic.
I don't want to
You fucking see that?
kick a dead horse or pour salt in the wound, but like the dome, dude.
Yeah.
That's such a
And
bummer,
the whole
man.
park, you know.
I drove by.
That's been the hardest thing to swallow is the change of Washington.
It still hurts me, dude. Like, I drove by. Like, I never go down Washington from First Street anymore. Like, I never turn on to Washington. But the other day I had to. I needed to stop by the grocery store after work. And I just drove by it, and I was like, fuck yeah, but god damn, dude, that's so sad. Like, there's an actual skate park there now, so, like, we shouldn't be so bummed about it.
Right.
But the dome is gone. The Butch's block is gone.
The bridge, at least.
The bridge is gone.
It's all chain link fences everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and, like, it has no vibe.
Dude.
Like, before it was, like, plaza. Like, and just, like, you could just walk up on that spot and, like, a skater could see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your average person wouldn't be like, oh, there's a skate park. It didn't look like the roller coasters.
They would just see a bunch
of
black curbs that were rounded off and like, what the fuck?
It's just like a skater could see it. You're like, oh, look at all those fucking sick ledges of, oh, look at that amphitheater thing, all the steps, oh, look at that bridge thing. Like, maybe you could manual cross that, or like, look, like the tables, like all that shit. It's like, to have that place, the only reason I can be content with like losing it is knowing that I had it.
Right.
And,
I mean, that's...
And knowing that some of it is still there.
Yeah.
And, like, we can still go, like, we still sesh and throw down, and it's like, even though there's, like, just pieces of it, it's still, like, fuck yeah.
That's a comforting thought that, like, at least, like, the dome is going to live on, because, like, that was such of a landmark, like, in my life. Like, a lot of shit has happened there, and, like, there's been a lot of tricks, a lot of injuries, a lot of fights, a lot of, like, just culture.
Just
like,
times.
Tagging, like, I mean, it smelled like piss most of the time, but
yeah,
it was like our thing, you know what I mean? And like, I drove by it the other day and like, I was like, man, dome's gone. I was like, that's gone. Fucking Butch's block is gone. Like, everything is gone. Like, everything is new, which isn't a bad thing if you didn't know it was there. I guess through the younger generation.
You wouldn't know. Yeah,
it's I hold on to things like near and dear. You know what I mean?
Me too.
And as soon as I like heard that they were demolishing the dome, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I drove down there, like, right away and was like, there's no way. And then, sure as shit, there was bulldozers and, like, front-end loaders and rubble everywhere, dude. I was like, damn, bro. That's a bummer.
Hard pill to swallow, man, yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, you kind of just, like, flash back on all that happened in that area. Like you might have just done, like, the dome gap real quick or something. Or you heard of somebody... like doing a front side flip on the dome gap, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like, you try to go back, and then it's gone. It's like, damn it.
Yeah, man. Just the architecture. Like, I like, man, just architecture. Like,
it was like our own little, like, love park. Like, our own little, like, dollar store love park. You know what I mean? Like,
it was.
Like, the dome was, like, the symbol, like, that love symbol with the tilted little zero, like, O on it.
Yeah, man.
Like, that was our symbol, man. And they not even a warning. They're just like, boom, gone.
I know. And it's like, yeah, there's those plazas in the cities, like Embarcadero, San Francisco, Love Park, Philadelphia. Yeah. Not like DC is like, what is that, Pluowski or some shit. And there's some of these cities that just have these places that skateboarding just kind of gravitated towards because of the architecture.
Right.
And we had one of those.
Right.
Like, we didn't need a skate park. I even understood it as a kid. Like, we went to like Cruces Park when it was brand new. Like, my mom took us over there. And, like, a couple friends, and, like, we skated it, and it was dope. And
at the time, it was fucking amazing.
It was amazing.
Because we only had curbs.
We didn't know what a skate park...
But then looking back, you go there now, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
I remember, though. I remember coming back from either Cruces or El Paso, different parks, and being like, damn, I wish we had one of those.
Yeah. And
talking about it with the friends. But then also, silently to myself, being like, I'm like, I wouldn't trade it, though. Even back then, as a little kid, I knew. I was like, this place is cooler. Because I always had a feeling about that place.
Yeah.
From the very first time I went there and actually saw real skateboarding, I was like, there's something here.
Yeah. There's like a vibe to it. It was like, there's nothing in this world that can replace that feeling that, like, we all had, like, when everybody was having a good day at the same time. And that happened often.
Yeah.
I remember, like, there was days when everybody was ripping. Like, no matter what. Like, everybody was just on one, like...
Yep.
And it was just a vibe, like...
It just elevated. It was
so and so did like the runway gap, and someone did like down the big two, like, and then somebody would just like go over here, bust the Smith grind. Like, it was like everything was clicking, and it was like we were a team, like, in a weird roundabout way, but like not at the same. I don't know.
I know exactly what you're saying.
It's hard to explain, but like I long for that. Like, that kind of shit, like when you're just in the fucking zone, you know
it's
what I mean?
like a flow state of just fucking pure, like there's just like it's just going off, and
that's
you're like,
when the best things at Washington Park ever happened, was when there was like fucking 15, 20 dudes out there, like all in that same like that zone, like just nothing can go wrong. You're just ripping it, you know what I mean?
Just ripping
like,
it, dude.
I remember like one of the last times, like I actually had that feeling, like we ripped a desk out from behind the Boys and Girls Club, as we're apt to do. Like we just steal shit from behind the Boys and Girls Club and skate it. But they put it on going down the orange curb, and then like that thing, I tore that thing a new fucking asshole. Because we were just in that clicking shit. And I wish I could remember who all was there. I'm pretty sure JoJo. I'm trying to just think, like, remember faces, but it's so fucking long ago.
Yeah, and there were so many of similar, parallel sessions where you're like, I don't know, it could have been this day or that day.
It could have been so many different people, but like, I remember like I started out with just an easy little like 50-50 down it, and I was like, all right, let's step it up a little bit. I did a 5-0 down it, did a front board on it, did a front nose on it, and I was like started getting that like in the zone feeling, like that what we were just talking about, and then like
next thing you know, you iced like 17 grinds down that thing.
Just over crook on it. I fucking smithed it. I'm not even good at tail slides. Like tail slides were my nemesis, but I tail slid it. Like all kinds of shit. And I remember like we finished off the day, like my legs were jello at that point. I was trying to front blunt it, like front nose blunt, and like I kept sliding down it and kept sliding down it and kept sliding down it, and I don't honestly know if I ever got it or not. I think I did. Yeah. But like it was just like one of those days where you just like the sun starts going down, it starts getting cool, like you feel like the coolness of the grass coming up, and you're just like, that was a good fucking day. Dude. I remember that so vividly in my brain, like I can feel like that level of chill, you know what I mean?
Oh man, the way you said the grass cool, like that's the thing too, because the heat just leaves and then like
the heat leaves the pavement, and that cool grass comes up, and then you're just like, that was a good fucking day.
That was a day.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and everyone's just sitting around and just like
bullshit and smoking cigarettes, fucking talking about the randomest fucking shit. Like stupid fucking shit.
Not quite acknowledging how special that is, but like you kind of knew. In a way you knew.
It was like an unspoken thing, like but you
then,
knew.
Yeah, something you look back on and you're like, damn, that shit was like the times.
Totally.
Like the times.
It was a great fucking time, man.
Yeah, like I was camping with the homies, and like I said, I was asking all kinds of random questions. Like we were talking about favorite bands, or I was like top albums, or like the one I asked you when we go back in time, where would you want to get stuck?
70s, yeah.
I think we came there from like Guar or something. We were talking about.
We were
Guar.
talking about something.
But yeah, some of those questions, man, are interesting. Like yeah, I don't know, man, but yeah, where would you
hit me with one?
Where would you be without skateboarding? But we talked about that earlier. It's a blank space, but I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
that one's totally grayed out. I have no idea.
One of the questions would be like that I asked the homies earlier. I was like, if you could, you could go anywhere you want. It's paid for. Where would you go? Somewhere that you would like want to travel.
Anywhere
to,
in the world?
Anywhere in the world. My homie Hollis actually even went to outer space. I was like, that's gnarly. He was like, if I could get like a farm, like a floating farm, terraformed. I was like, that's too far from home.
That's
for me.
A little gnarly for me. I mean, I remember watching the Apollo 13 movie. I'm not cool with that.
I always think about the what ifs. Like Amy's always like, let's go to Maldives or something, And I'm like, that's like hundreds of miles south of India in the middle of the ocean. It's a tiny island. I'm like, if everything goes well and you fly and it all works out perfectly,
everything's good.
It's a great vacation spot. But from a survival standpoint, you're like, if any one thing went wrong,
true, and
we were just here, you're like in the middle of the goddamn ocean, like 200 miles south of India.
No expenses. No.
And then I think about homie Hollis talking about outer space, and I'm like, I'll take the Maldives,
Yeah.
Like, at least you're on Earth.
I'll stay with Earth, man.
Dude, going to space, that's fucking gnarly.
My response to that would be probably Tokyo, Japan. Like, sick. I don't know if you know, I'm a quarter Japanese.
I didn't quite know that, but now you mention it, it kind of like, it almost makes sense.
So
it does make sense.
My grandmother, who I never met, she passed away before I was born. She was 100%. And then my grandpa that married her, he was 100% Polish. So like, my mom is half Polish, half Japanese. So I'm a quarter Japanese, basically.
Nice.
So like, I hold that near and dear, like the whole samurai thing. Like,
They're an ancient culture, like, you know.
Yeah, like known for perfectionism.
Elite, you know, kind of like
focus, like be the best that you can fucking be type of shit. Like, and yeah, like I think it would have to be Japan, like for sure.
That'd
like,
be sick.
If not Tokyo, then like at least one of the more rural type of parts, because there's some beautiful scenery in Japan that I've like.
Oh yeah.
Of course, like internet. I haven't seen it myself, but I've seen in the internet. There's a lot of pretty places.
I've always liked Japanese, like architecture and just like the principles, like, you know, the minimalist kind of, and the design and the, like the straight lines and like the design,
precision,
and the culture. But I really like that minimalist, fucking sharp design. I love that shit.
Love it, dude.
But
I think that's probably why I am a little bit the way I am, like perfectionist, OCD, like gymnastics, like that is literally like the pursuit of perfection. You know what I mean? Like you have to do your routine absolutely perfectly. Like I don't know if you know how gymnastics is judged, but if your feet, like even if you're doing a triple backflip or whatever, if your feet come slightly apart, like that's like 1/10 of a point deduction. So like you have to literally
precision. Do
a perfect every single thing down to the T perfect to get a 10. And it's like that's what I always like to go. Like that's why I got into golf.
I was going to ask you about golf, and I was going to ask you about gymnastics because of the backflip. I mean, how many fucking times have someone asked you to do a backflip?
Hundreds, thousands, maybe.
Have you ever gotten paid? Like, dude, I'll give you $20. You just do a backflip.
I've gotten a few beers. I've gotten a few beers at bars. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I've gotten a buzz at a bar for doing a few backflips.
That's awesome.
But like that's why I got into golf. Like.
For those who don't know, Antoine, you can just do a backflip, right? Like just standing there still?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't done one in a lot of years, but I'm sure I still could.
Yeah, because I remember, like, I probably asked you, like, some stupid-ass little kid at the park, being like, dude, do a backflip. And you're like, man, all right, like, fine. And you just do it. And I'm like, sick, dude, sick.
That was like a party favor for a long time.
That's so cool.
There's like, this guy can do a backflip, No,
he can't. Bull fucking shit, he can't. And you're like, all right, like, here we go.
Let me shove this in your face.
Check out, like, your shit out of your pockets with the baggy jeans. You're like, I don't want to lose my wallet or whatever.
The main thing was I'd always look behind me. Because, like, my fear was, like, I was going to kick some poor girl in the top of the head or something trying to... I wasn't aware of my surroundings, but... Yeah. No, I can do a backflip, but...
So you got state championship in gymnastics?
Of New Mexico, yeah. And the boys... Can't remember what age I was. I was pretty young, but I did.
I remember hearing that you were in gymnastics, and then of course I know you could do a backflip, and then I was like, that makes sense with the skating though, because the way that you would like fall and take the shoulder and just like back to your feet, and I was like, that dude falls so well. I was like, damn.
The first thing
so I need to learn how to do that because I fall like
my
shit.
Coach taught me to do
just body. I'm like, god damn, like I don't fall that often, but when I do, it's like just fucking dead weight. I'm like, God, I need to learn how to fall better.
No, the first thing I learned, like my very first day in gymnastics, was how to fall. Like they didn't even teach. Like you figure you'd start gymnastics all but like do backflips and like go spin on the bar. Like no, they were like you're learning how to fall today. And I was like, oh shit. They're like, so basically it's all about like weight dispersion. So instead of landing on your stomach, like land on your knees and elbows and then roll, like because the inertia of falling down is going to dissipate that if you roll around, you know what I mean?
Manipulating.
And then if you're going forward, which I'm probably like known for, like doing the front roll, like if you're falling forward, tuck your shoulder down, tuck your head in, and then land on your shoulder and then flip around. So that's the very first thing they taught us first day of gymnastics.
And that translated with skateboarding because your front foot forward.
It translated with everything in my life.
Everything
in my life. Like after like doing so well in gymnastics and being in it for so long, dude, that shit was like a part-time job. Like I was 5 days a week for 4 or 5 hours a day, like after school, like going and doing it.
What does that generally consist of? Like training? Like what kind of stuff are you doing?
So at that level, like in kids gymnastics, they have set routines. So men gymnastics has 7 different events. You have like high bar, floor, parallel bars, vault, high bar, pommel horse, one other thing I can't rings. I don't know.
A lot of shit you see in Olympics.
All of it, yeah.
I remember seeing the Olympics gymnastics stuff, and I was like, that shit is cool as fuck. Like, it's so sick.
That's how I got into gymnastics, was my mom was in gymnastics, and then, like, I was just watching the Olympics one day. There was this guy, Chaney Humphrey. He was a black dude, and he won the 94 94 Olympics, I think. But I was like watching him one day and I was like, Mom, I want to do that. And she's like, okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
Let's go.
So sign me up the next day.
Nice.
But training, there was those 7 events. Like, it would literally give you the breakdown of, like, they would show you literally in a book. Like, they would show you how you're supposed to do this routine. And then you basically you learn flexibility, you learn strength. You do, like, we started every single day with 300 crunches. Like,
yeah.
We would start, like, put our feet on the wall, do 100. We'd turn to our side, do 100 side crunches on one side, turn to the other side, do 100 crunches on the other. So it was pretty intense to start out with. And then after that, it was like, try to do it this way. Like, try to do a round off, meaning, like, you just go on your hands, do a 180 basically. And then the coach is just spotting you. So he's basically just holding your body in case you fuck up. Like, if you land on your face, he's going to catch you. Mm-hmm. He's like, now try a back handspring. So you just do, like, a backflip, but put your hands down on the ground, so on and so forth. And if they break it down to you in those each individual type of options there, like, it makes more sense. Because, like, if you just look at a backflip, you're like, I could do that. Like, it doesn't look that hard, but there's a lot of mechanics to it.
And the consequences are severe if you mess it up.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So there's a lot of mats. There's a lot of spotting. There's a lot, like, foam pits are a big thing now, which when I was in there wasn't an option.
There's more mats. And
just mats and
assisted flips
basically
with instructors
just,
and teammates.
Yeah. Mostly, like, just catastrophic failure. And I almost bit my tongue off one time.
Oh.
Because I've always had buck teeth. And then we were doing double front flips off of a mini trampoline and landing on a mat. And then I had them on lock.
Do you run and hit the mini trampoline and then do it?
Yep.
Okay.
So you just run on the floor, you hit the mini tramp, just do a double front flip, like you tuck, and just land and just
bam.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for some reason, like, the worst thing you can do when you're flipping is take your hands off your knees. And that's what I fucking did. I had those on lock, and I don't know why. It was just a weird day.
I saw a video about cats or something, and how they always land on their feet, and there's like weird shit of how they manipulate and turn, but like little movements like that make
legit.
It's kind of like
all the difference.
It's like skydiving or something too. Like if you move your arms or cup your hands a certain way, like you go like, you know, I don't know.
It's 100% that way. Like if you're trying to do what's called a full, like a backflip with a 360 in it, it's the same thing. If you even kind of move your elbow out a little bit, it takes all of your spin away, and you're not gonna make it.
And you're just flailing. Yeah.
But this particular day, like,
you had your arms out.
I took my hands off my knees, and like I forgot where I was, because you're supposed to go like the way I did it, at least. It's like I hit and I was like, okay, floor, open. Like, and that's how I literally, like, you see floor, and then you'd be like, okay, I feel like I'm in the right spot, open up. And then it stops your motion. But I forgot where I was. I was like, floor, oh fuck. And then I landed on my chin with my tongue out, and then I scorpioned. Yeah, my heels hit the back of my head, and then my buck teeth went straight through my tongue. So yeah, that was rough.
Brutal. God damn.
I mean, through all the shit I did, I mean, luckily that was like the worst that ever happened to me.
Yeah, because there's like the spectrum of like, that was bad, but it definitely could have been worse.
Could have been a broken neck or something else, but
damn.
Yeah, but I chomped my tongue, and I was like, my dad was making fun of me. He kept calling me a chow dog because I had a black tongue for like a month.
Oh, God damn.
And I still feel the lump. Like if I like run my teeth on my tongue, I can still feel the lump on there.
Damn, bro. That's sick.
Like scar tissue.
Yeah. Shit.
But gymnastics, like, talking about like broken bodies and shit, basically gymnastics fucked me up. Kickboxing fucked me up. Skateboarding definitely fucked me up.
Yeah.
So...
And then
that's a little bit of the reason why I don't skate much anymore, is like I kind of like realized my own mortality. Like I stepped on a skateboard a few times, and like I did a kickflip, and I think I did like a varial heel real quick, and like just my bones felt like they were rattling, and like my knee almost separated on something stupid, just like I think I just like did a half cap or something. Like I felt my knee almost separate, and I was like, dude, I am just broken. Which,
do you do any like resistance training or any like fitness stuff lately? Or?
I haven't done shit.
I know
I've been a pile of garbage.
We were gonna get into the golf thing, and we definitely have to talk about that for sure before we go. But
for sure,
golf's like very precise too, huh?
100%.
Like
So
I've played. That's a difficult shit.
So gymnastics is definitely the harder sport. if I had to say, because you use your entire body. You need flexibility, strength. You need concentration, stamina. You need all that shit.
Yeah.
In golf, really, you just need technique and you need concentration. If you have those two, then you can make it work. But like, if you're hitting a shot, just think about it. You're trying to take a 2-inch ball and you're trying to put it in a 4-inch hole 400 yards away with these weird little fucked up sticks that hopefully you hit it right. Like,
and there's a bunch of elements between you and there.
all the elements. There's trees, there's water, there's sand, there's everything. Wind,
hot sun, fucking
birds. Like, I've almost fucking killed a shit. Oh,
damn, yeah. That's one you don't think about often, but yeah they're there. You play golf enough times, you hit a damn bird. Holy shit.
Come close. Haven't done it yet. But if you deviate from your swing, this is where technique is, like consistency. Like, if you deviate even a half an inch off of what you normally do, that's going to be a catastrophic event of what happens to your ball after that.
Yep. It's kind of like the smoker we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. The
1 millimeter later, you're like, was way too high.
So precision, like, that's like thing that my brain is always like focused on, is just being like precise, like just executing like perfectly. Like, I don't know, it's just how my brain always has been.
You've always come up in those kind of fields.
Yeah, you know? Yeah.
Maybe it is that Japanese like DNA, you know. I mean,
don't dishonor your family.
It's probably a part of it for sure.
I honestly have, I 100% believe that.
Didn't you get a hole-in-one?
2.
I heard rumors about a hole-in-one.
I've gotten 2, yeah.
I'm like, that's so much easier than putting. I should just try to get the ball in one shot every time.
It's just so much easier. No, it was
That's literally my favorite movie.
That is a great fucking movie.
And
that was actually like my introduction to golf, honestly. Yeah.
I've said this before, and so those of you who've heard this, you know, like whatever, Pat told the story. But how the fuck do you pick a favorite movie? You can't. I mean, there's
no way.
SLC Punk or Detroit Rock City, or like there's all these movies that I love, you know.
Yeah,
and I'm
just
like,
named some great ones.
But Happy Gilmore though, it chose me because I don't know why, but it's always followed me around and it's always made sense to me.
You always have like just quotes on hand, like if
always
you want to just throw it out.
Throws back to Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you're pretty sick, Chubbs. You know,
I'm with you on
like,
that.
and I don't know why, but it's my it's just.
I'm with you on that.
It's not necessarily my favorite movie, but it's like it's the favorite movie that chose me as its favorite. Right. I don't even know if that makes sense.
Right.
But
for a while, for me, it was Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber, just like I could not make Dumb and Dumber quotes for like years.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Exactly, shit like that. Yeah. Like, there you go. There you go. Like,
how the hell does he know that I got gas?
Dear gas man.
But yeah, dude. So
if I had to place like my finger on a movie that I'd kind of dub my favorite, there's no possible way. Closest I would probably get is Zombieland. Zombieland is fucking hilarious.
Because there's different qualities in movies.
Exactly.
Like, this one's the funniest thing, but then there's like the ones that are like epic script, epic cast, just pull on your heartstrings, you know, like something that's just like a quality movie where you're like, damn, you know, like Shawshank Redemption or something.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
And I don't want to be like a basic bitch here, but like you try to like throw out Pulp Fiction in there, like it's just like there's so many different genres of movies. Like if you say like there's a new romantic comedy, I'm like, I can tell you the exact way it's gonna happen. These two people hate each other. They suddenly fucking realize they kind of like each other. They get mad at each other again, and then they end up together.
And then
it's like
curtains.
It's like so many movies out there have formulas that they just stay to. Like horror movies are like bad offenders of that too. But like when you go into like Quentin Tarantino films, or even like what's the other fucking weird, M. Night Shyamalan, if you go into that, like, you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Nope.
And that's what I love about movies. Like, I'm big into movies.
And when they rip the predictability away.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, damn. Like, oh, okay.
One thing I really like about Quentin Tarantino, dude, like, he'll just harp on one weird little part of this movie that doesn't need to be harped on. Like, like in Django, when they're like the whole bag scene. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen that once. I need to see it again.
So, like, just to set the scene for you, they're all these racists. It was back in like slavery times. So they were mad at this dude because he was posing as a black slaver at this time. It was Jamie Foxx. And he was with this other guy that was posing to be like a dentist or something like that. And they're like, this whole like regalia or whatever, like whatever you want to call it, militia or whatever, is coming over the hill trying to like be pissed at these dudes because of what they did. They killed some guys because they're bounty hunters actually. And then they have these bags on their head which just have little eye holes cut out. And then like this part didn't need any place in the fucking movie at all. But then like this dude's like, I can't see fucking shit out of these things, talking about the bags on their face.
Oh, yeah.
he's like one tried to like make his eye hole a little bigger, and he's like, oh shit, I made mine worse. And like they're just harping on the bag for like 15 minutes that they're supposed to be wearing.
And meanwhile, there's like this great peril like that they're going through.
Exactly. Like there's this whole other thing that's supposed to be happening. They're supposed to be raiding these guys that they're pissed at and supposed to be killing them, but like they're just bitching about these bags on their head. That's what I love about Tarantino. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
He's got a great interview. Like Joe Rogan interviewed him, like podcast, you know, and I mean. It's all good, but I listened to it coming back on my trip from San Francisco last summer, and I was like somewhere in the middle of Arizona at like fucking some wee hours of the night, just driving by myself, like fucking I'm gonna power through this trip and just get home, you know.
Just stay awake.
I'm just fucking flooring it on the highway late at night, just red eye coffee, and I'm like, fuck it, Quentin Tarantino, Joe Rogan, let's go. And then like, yeah, he's badass, dude. It's like he tells this whole story about movies and shit,
like how he produces them,
kind of, yeah, how it's good shit, man.
Getting
podcast is great, man, because it's like you really get in there with somebody,
you get into details and like pick people's brains and shit. Otherwise, like there's been so many times, like, because at the park there's so much random shit that would happen, like so much stupid random funny things, and like you wish it would have been on video, like just like you were talking about earlier, like. So, like, podcasts kind of capture that, you know what I mean? Like, just the stupid random shit that can fucking happen. Like, there's two comedians, like Burt Kreschner and Tom Segura. Like, it's called, like, Two Bears, One Cave.
Oh, sick.
Those motherfuckers, they're so fucking funny.
I've been hearing about that. I need to check that out.
Dude, check it out. Yeah, Tom Segura, he's one of my favorite comedians. Like, yeah, he's by far one of my favorite comedians.
I've heard some of his stuff because I dabble with the Joe Rogan podcast, and he has a lot of his comedian friends on there a lot, and then like sometimes I'll even just catch the YouTube clips, like JRE clips, and then they'll be like, a lot of those guys are great though, man.
Yeah, good like shit. Comedy, like stand-up comedy is another thing I'm really big into. It got me through a lot of hard times, like just being bummed out, depression or whatever, like fucking throwing in fucking stand-up comedy. Like there's like Tom Segura, or my all-time favorite is George Carlin. Because he's an old guy. He's like
classic.
Yeah. But he talks about real shit. Like,
I've heard a lot of his stuff like coming up again.
Yeah.
Like the relevance of what he was talking about years ago. It's like, oh, like that's happening now.
I'm not gonna be that conspiracy guy that was like, he was warning you, but like he kind of was, dude. Like the shit he was talking about is happening right fucking now. But you know, it is what it is. We're in a fucking crazy world at the current moment. Like, who the fuck knows what's gonna happen?
It is, man. Bringing it up to current speeds. Like, what's up with you now? Like, what are you going for? What are you doing? Or, I mean, I know you're a dad now, so that's cool.
I'm a dad. Yeah.
Congratulations again.
Appreciate you, man.
I don't know if I ever formally told you that, but that's a big deal.
No, like so, doing the daddy thing. She's just under 6 months right now. About a week, she'll be 6 months. Her name's Lillian Antoinette, which I thought was a clever little twist in there, because my mom's middle name is Antoinette, and of course my nickname was Antoine. So
Lillian Antoinette, it's a beautiful name.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, for real.
She's a fucking monster. She's huge. She's a big old girl now.
Damn, that's awesome.
She's sitting up by herself. Like, just watching the evolution of a human being is fucking incredible. Like, from a parent standpoint, it's misery. like I'm somebody.
There's some suffering involved.
Oh no, there's a lot of suffering involved. Yeah, don't get it twisted. But it's like I know you're a dog lover. Like, I know you Chop and all that. I know that, man. And it's like you take the most love you've ever felt in your life and you put it into a fucking little 8-pound thing. And it's like, it's in an instant. You know what I mean? Like, when she was in Mama's belly the whole time, it was like, it was kind of surreal. Like, it didn't really feel like it was happening. And then when she came out, I was like, holy fuck. Like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
The whole time she was in Mama's belly, like, I always kept calling her Lily Bean. Like, that was my nickname for her, Lily Bean. And she came out of mom just mad as a hornet, dude. She was pissed. She was like, why the fuck are you getting me out of here? Like, she was mad. And then the nurse had to wash her, like put her in the little bath off on a little side table. And I was just sitting there, and she was screaming bloody murder, like tears were running down her face, and like I'm sitting there trying not to cry because like I'm instantly in love with this little thing, you know what I mean?
And you're like, why are you so upset?
Yeah,
you know,
and I was just like trying to do everything I could. Like, do you need me to do anything? And the nurse was basically just like, fuck off. Like,
shovel off.
There's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do.
And then I was like, Lily Bean. And then like she instantly like kind of just like kind of stopped for a second, like looked, like tried to find me because she recognized that from when I was calling her that
it's
in
like
the womb,
she's
you know?
trying, screaming, like, what do I cling on to?
Yeah.
And then she finds you, you know?
And like from that point, like I was already in love with this kid, but then I was like, oh my fucking God.
You just had that quantum, like, fucking...
Like you need me to cut my hand off real quick for you? I'll fucking do it. Like, you know what I mean? But no, like there's a lot of misery in it. I'm a person that values sleep and quiet. Like being as reclusive as I am, that's how I roll. Like I like sleep and quiet. And you don't get those. No. Like, that's all gone. So, like, not to deter anybody who's thinking about having kids, but it's a lot more than people kind of prepare you for. All they really tell you is like, you're never going to sleep again, and they're going to be a handful, and like, you kind of don't really think about it, like, because I'm prone to depression already, you know what I mean? And then like, if I don't sleep, and then I already have anxiety on top of that too, because I'm not sleeping, it's a battle, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Like,
I'm sure you have those. I'm sure you have those moments where you're like almost like kind of annoyed and tired, and like your emotions are getting the best of you personally, and then you look at her though, and then you're just like,
that's exactly how it is.
What am I complaining about?
That's exactly how it is. Like she'll drive you like drive me at least to the very end of sanity. Like I legit feel like I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, and then like she'll just do like a. Like just like laugh at me. I'm like, you motherfucker, god damn it. All right, like it's like that puppy you can't be mad at, but like times 1,000, you know what I mean? But it's great, man. Awesome. Like I can't wait till like I'm actually able to like play and like take her places, because right now she's 6 months. Like we can take her places, but it's like, why are we gonna go to this parade when she's 6 months and not gonna remember?
They're not ready for the world
yet,
like to that world yet. It's kind of,
and I'm not like that super like scared.
They're not going to remember the experience much. It's not doing much for them, and it's a lot of work for you guys as parents.
100%, because then we got to pack her up. We got to get her diaper bag. We got to get the food. We got to do all that shit. Yeah. But I figure, like, by the time she's probably, like, 8 months or so, then she'll, like, things will start happening, like, to where she's, like interested in stuff, you know what I mean? Like, right now she's interested in colors. She'll reach out for shit. And it's probably kind of bad, but she really likes to grab my beers because they're like cold and like different colors and shit.
Yeah, stimulating. Like, I like that.
Yeah. But she'll be sitting on my lap, and I'll just be drinking my one beer after work, and then just like grab my beer can, and then like, it's like, it's even hard to describe. Like, you know, when you're having one of those vibe times, like with your dog or something, you're just like chilling. It's been a hard day, and your dog's just making it better. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's like that times 100. You're like, this is basically me. Like she's like over here just like digging the same TV show you're watching, like you know what I mean? Like
it's like there's this quantum level of understanding where you're just like, yo, like you a real one though. Like
100%.
We're cool.
100%.
Like, and you don't say, or like it's just there. It's just like
100%.
It's like this pure agreement, connection. Like
I
describe it like a magnet kind of. Like there's been times where Amy and I were apart for a while, and then I just hug her or something after not. I'm just like, there's like this relief.
Like
you're like, god damn, like I've been away from my other, like the opposite pole.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's this tension, this invisible tension, and then when you come together, you're like, oh.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like at the end of it, like when you come home from work and you're with your family and your daughter, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, it's like clink, here we are. You know. Mm-hmm. It's magic, dude. It's like,
but don't get it twisted though. Like, it's awful.
The space apart, though, is also what makes that connection special.
True that.
You need the distance.
Like, I'll get home from work, and then, like, I'll be like, hey, baby girl. She, like, does that, like, oh. Like, she's so stoked to see me, and I'm like, how can you not be, like, in a good mood when you see that? But being a parent, like, I don't feel like people are honest enough about it. It fucking sucks. Like, too many people are like, it's the best thing I've ever done with my life. It's, like, the greatest. And I'm like, no, it fucking sucks. Like, you're up fucking every 2 hours when they're new. Like, you're up every 2 hours. Because like whether you want to be or not, they're up. Because every 2 hours you got to feed them, change them, that kind of thing. And then like, it's like, I used to be able to just get into my car, go to the grocery store, get what I need, get the fuck out.
Yep.
Now it's like
an ordeal.
Now I'm like, okay, it's hot outside, so I got to put her in something like shorts. Now I got to like make sure I start the car before she get like I put her in there because it's stupid hot in my car. And then like, it's like that whole thing. Like,
it's way more of a logistics game.
Exactly. So it's like, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me, and at the same time, it's fucking like, God damn it, this fucking sucks. At the same time,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to clarify on that.
It's like anything.
People
like,
glorify it and romanticize it, which, yes, it is all that. It is amazing. It is the best thing I've ever done with my life. However, it also is part of the worst thing ever.
It also comes with the world's heaviest baggage.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because, like, I had this boss. Like, I work for Verizon now. I know a lot of people don't know that, but I gave up selling motorcycles. But I work at Verizon now. One of my old bosses, like, he was single and, like, he was a manager. Like, he was making some decent money. He would just fucking fly to Boston on a weekend just because.
Yeah.
He'd fly to New York. He'd fly to Florida just for a weekend just because he could. And, like, hop back.
Travel.
Stay there one day, hop back. I'm like, fuck, man. I could have done all that shit. But
there's
like,
some
now
envy.
the kid's in the mix, and that's not a thing. But I wouldn't have it any other way. But it's still, like, you have those thoughts, like,
the what ifs. If I had taken this other, I think of it like a wheel, you know. And there's like all these spokes on a wheel, like a bicycle wheel, even, like with a lot of spokes. And you're like, each one is a timeline, and you're on one. And you're like, well, what if I had just hopped over
onto the next one?
What would that have been? And then like the ones closest to your current timeline are like the most similar, and then there's the ones that are like way out and then completely opposite.
Total polar opposite.
We're probably like in some alternate universe.
100%.
Like, multiple universe we're like living those, but you know, I think about that too because
I 100% believe in alternate universes, dude.
I'm think about being 100%. Like tied down and like, you know, maybe like with my life, you know, like my whatever I'm doing, you know, like this property or whatever, like, you know, the more you have, the more you own, the more you're owned, kind of.
Legit.
You know, and sometimes I envy those people, like hashtag van life and shit. Like Amy and I are all looking at vans and like maybe like we're gonna do some traveling, you know, just as like recreational, not full time. Like we're gonna live in a van.
100%.
But I'm like, man, some of those people, like I just did car camping like a year ago. Like I went to SF. I just felt like I was like I gotta go skate some of those spots. And I keep talking about it, and I'm like I'm never, you know, I could wait for someone. I'm just like fuck it, like. My grandfather, he used to just take off on road trips. Yeah. People would be like, "You're crazy!" Like, and this is back no cell phones. He didn't really have much money. Like a beater ass truck with a makeshift camper, and he just dipped the fuck out. And
just find himself a nice little Walmart.
He was fine.
Real quick.
Yeah. So I'm like, he's out there all alone with like no money and no technology, and he was fine. I'm like, I can do it with a goddamn phone and GPS and
100%.
Like a little bit of spending money and like, but I stealth camped in my Corolla, ripped out the back seat and like where I could put my feet in the trunk and like my head's in the middle of the car by the seats.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I tinted the windows after all those years. I was all finally tinted my windows, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm a stealth camp." I forget where I was going with this. Oh, being envious of other people, those nomadic lifestyles. And a part of me craves that with like one duffel bag full of possessions, your skateboard, and like a vehicle, and you're just like hit the fucking road.
Yeah.
You know? But I can't do that. Like I'm attached to friends and family and this life that I built.
Yeah, like you're tied down basically. Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be worth the trade. Like in hindsight, I would be like, nah. Like I would go back to what I'm doing now. You know, I don't know. But it's just like you can bargain with these different timelines, but I don't know.
It goes either way.
You're on the one you're on, and just like I think what it comes down to is balance.
True.
That's the ultimate life, because the extremes are only sustainable for so long. Where you're like extreme traveling, extreme Instagram, like Red Bull athlete, like I'm on a beach every day and skydiving, and you're like, that's how.
And then there's like
that?
what I'm doing right now, which is like basically like isolation. Like we're not scared to take her places because of like the Rona and shit. Of course, we're more cautious because like
it happened right during that time frame.
Legit, yeah. It did.
I remember seeing you guys at the store. I hadn't seen you in a long time, and
wearing our
you were like,
masks
"What's up,
shit,
dude?" And I was like,
"Who are you?"
Hey, yeah.
We were wearing our masks because like first of all,
you're just trying to do the right thing.
We're having a kid, and who knows how gnarly this fucking thing is. Like whether you want to believe in it or not, like. I just don't want to take that risk, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's different when it's just me, but when it's a little one, it's a whole nother story.
Right.
But it just makes you think completely differently. Like I'm a motorcycle enthusiast, man. I have a couple of bikes, and then I have one gnarly one, like my rocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's called an FZ09. It's a Yamaha. It's a 900 triple cylinder. It's a beast. It's a wheelie happy. Like it wants to wheelie all the time. So like after I had her, I rode it to work, or I don't know if it's to work. Anyways, I was riding it, and then like there's always this one spot on like that scenic extension where everybody walks on. Like you're coming off the panorama, and like you make that left turn on the scenic.
Start ripping it towards
just
north.
I bust a wheelie right there, like every time, just because like you're kind of secluded. You can tell if there's gonna be cops there or not.
You can get away with it.
It's just right there.
And there's nobody there.
You can just pop the front wheel up real quick and then put it back down. And then like after I had her, I fucking popped it up and I put it back down. And then like I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, I'm a dad, dude. Like, why the fuck am I doing that? Like, it's so stupid. Cause like any one thing can happen. Like, the wheel can spin, or like, and then it can just like throw me into like a slide or something like that, or I can overcook it and fucking fall back. Like, there's all kinds of shit. But
and then you're not going to be able to do the things you need to do.
Yeah,
for the foreseeable future.
Exactly.
Assuming like nothing really crazy happens. And,
right.
It's just like you ask yourself.
And I mean, it's like when you ride a motorcycle, like you kind of come to expect death. Like you don't like want it, or like, but you got to accept that that's a thing that could happen.
Your life's in your hands.
100%.
I mean, even when you're driving a car, but especially on a bike.
Especially on a bike, there's no seat belts, there's no like roll cage, there's nothing. Like,
we take for granted the danger of a fucking regular car.
True.
People do, but the bike is like amplified by like fucking 20.
A million. Yeah.
Or more, yeah. Whatever.
And then
infinite amount.
Right. But like all it takes is like one of my friends. I just lost one of my friends on a bike not too long ago. It was a 16-year-old girl texting.
Oh my god.
And fucking straight smushed him, man. Like, he was done. But like, it's one of those calculated risks. Like, it's like skateboarding is. It's a calculated risk. You know you're gonna get hurt. It's not an if, it's a when.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But like, you love it so much, you're gonna do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you know you're gonna twist your ankle. You know you're gonna like whatever.
You're gonna slap.
You're gonna break a bone. Whatever it is, you're gonna get hurt. But so far so good. I mean, knock on wood, I'm slightly superstitious, but like, so far so good. I haven't gone down on my bike yet. But in the biker category, like a lot of bikers say, like it's not if, it's when, because like any biker is gonna go down at some point. So
yeah,
you just gotta hope you're ready for it, and it's not too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, when you become a parent and you're like, why the fuck am I doing this kind of shit? I don't know if everybody else feels that way, but that's the way I felt.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because like it's not just me anymore. I gotta watch out for this girl.
Yeah.
And if I die or something, or if like I'm not around for some odd reason, whatever, that's gonna have detrimental effects to her. Versus like if she grew up with a dad, like a loving dad. You know what I mean?
For sure. That's a huge shift in your thinking.
It's rough.
And what you go to do.
Yeah.
What about any other like personal pursuits, you know, like lately or like in the future?
Mainly I'm just
outside of being a dad, just something for you.
That's the main focus right now. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to put everything I am and that I have into being a dad. Obviously still trying to keep my sanity. Like, I still want to ride my bikes. I still want to like play golf. I still want to like get my job done, you know what I mean? Like, I got to make money. But like, I'm in an odd place right now to where I'm like, I don't love what I'm doing, but I'm making all right money. Like, I can afford things. And then at the same time, I'm like kind of in a standstill of like wanting to do something for myself, and I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Right. That's a hard thing.
Like right now, like I was in restaurants for years, dude. Like, I was in a kitchen for I think like 14, 15 years, managed a lot of kitchens, ran a lot of kitchens, cooked, did all that shit. And like, opening a restaurant is the most obvious answer, but it's also the most risky, because like we all know restaurants don't really last in Alamo.
I've always thought about food trucks.
Food truck is a better option because you're not tied into as much expenses. But like I told you earlier, I worked on a food truck. There's a lot more to it.
Oh, you did? I remember. Yeah, chaos.
There's a lot more to it than you think there is.
Way
like,
more. Yeah.
Where you get your freezer items shipped to, like where you store it, you have to deal with like code. You have to deal with business license. You have to deal with,
in some ways
like,
it's simpler, but
health
other ways it's more difficult.
Honestly, yeah, it's a little bit trickier than I thought it would be. Like, I figured food truck, like, just go grab some food, slap it on a fucking plate. Like, how hard can it be?
Mm-hmm.
No, man, there's a lot more to it. Like, like health
the red
inspection.
tape, yeah.
There's a lot of red tape to it. And then like you can have like Otero County license to serve in Otero County, but if you hop over maybe to Cruces, you have to get a whole nother like
you know what that's really all about too? It's like it's just money.
Yeah, that's all it is.
You cross this line so we could have an excuse to take some money.
Right.
You fuckers.
Right.
Like, are we safe or are we not safe? Like, if we're safe in this place, then yeah, we're safe on the other side of this line too.
Right.
But no, they're just
How
giving us
about
some more
you just
money.
tell the health, like, have the health people check my shit, see if my like sanitizer buckets are okay, see if all like you worked in restaurants, you know
man.
how all that is.
Yeah.
You know how it is when the health inspector comes in, everybody's kind of like, oh shit, like hope we did everything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like, really, I have no idea. I've gotten into woodworking recently, like not recently, probably like the last 4 or 5 years or so. But that's also something like precision oriented, like we've been talking about, that I'm getting into.
Sick.
Like a regular fucking Ron Swanson and shit.
Yeah.
Give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
Yeah. I was watching Breaking Bad again. I hadn't seen it in a long time, but have you seen that?
Yeah, I
Where
watched
Jesse-
like most, if not all of it.
Jesse has that memory of him, like he has that story of him making that wooden box. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Jesse Pinkman.
Actually, I didn't remember that until you
He's
just said
kind
it.
of
Yeah.
he's kind of been a pile, you know, throughout his life, made a lot of mistakes, and
Yeah.
went down the dark road. But like he's got this one moment of like when he built this wooden box and it was perfect, and he put so much time and effort into it, and then like he ended up trading it for like an ounce of weed.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, that's what he said.
But you're like, yeah, that kind of craft where you pour yourself into something, man, is like special. You know?
Like it was something about it. Like I've always liked putting hammer to nail, and then like even as a young kid, like I like just trying to build things, and then like just stuff with my hands. Like I said, I'm not a good school classroom setting learner, but I've always liked working with my hands. So like I just bought I think the first thing I bought was like a table saw. I think my mom gifted it to me for like Christmas because I mentioned that I wanted to get into woodworking.
Nice.
And then like the way my mom's mindset is like, oh, he can build me a bunch of shit. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah. So like she bought me a table saw, and then like I built all kinds of shit, like a lot of small furniture, like floating shelves and like coffee tables, end tables. Like I built a chandelier, like a wooden chandelier in my my dining room.
Dope.
There used to be like above my fireplace. My fireplace is like in the corner. Which is a weird place to be.
Right.
But it used to have this big old wooden like monstrosity from the 70s that was like this god-awful looking shelf.
Yeah.
So like I ripped that whole bitch out, and like I've actually started learning like framing and drywalling, and
Dope.
like I'm getting into like home repair, like all kinds of shit, dude. It's pretty sick, like what you can do if you have like the right tools, you know?
Yeah.
So like I have a new rule of thumb, like if it costs more like to get like this thing done by somebody who kind of knows what they're doing than it does for me to get the tool, like just buy the tool myself, I'm just gonna do it my fucking self.
Yeah.
YouTube it and just do it. You know what I mean? Like it might not be the greatest, but I mean my house is a lot less shitty than it was when I first moved into it. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like,
Yeah. I think that's kind of the same for me. Like having this place, I've had to do a lot of shit on my own, and you just learn a lot. You're like, well, that comes with the territory, and you're like, same thing. You could pay somebody else to do it, or you could just figure it out.
do it yourself. You know
And,
what I mean?
and a lot of
Like,
times you figure out it's way more simple than you'd think.
Yeah.
Like I did an electric water heater. My brother helped with all the plumbing and all that, but I still had problems with the
Plumbing and
the-
electric
the
is
elements.
I'm scared of that.
The electrical elements. Like it's not a gas water heater, but it's got the heating elements.
Yeah.
And if you turn that bitch on without full of water,
Yeah.
it'll just fry the elements because
Yeah.
they go on like full cook mode.
Yeah, because they're trying to heat all that water.
Yeah.
And everything, yeah.
Well, I think we probably fried the elements, so like we got it all hooked up and it still didn't work.
Oh,
and
fuck.
I was like, I started looking into it, and like I almost called someone to come out, and they're like, yeah, here's gonna, you know, it's probably gonna be a couple $100.
Yeah.
But then I really thought about it. I'm like, it's a metal tank that holds water.
Yeah.
And there's two things.
There's an electric unit in there that heats the water. Like really, like
There's
you
the heating element and there's thermostat.
oversimplify it, and then it becomes less intimidating. You know.
I'm like, yeah, it's a thermostat or the heating element.
yeah.
So I was like, it's one or the other. That's there's nothing else other than that. It's a container, and that's it that holds water. So I was like, fuck it. So I found the wrench size to pull it out, and there you go. And I changed the elements, and then I'm like, then only one of them was working though, and I'm like, okay, well it has to be the thermostat.
Right.
So then I did the thermostat thing.
Good old
and
YouTube.
then it was done, and you're like, see, you could have paid someone hundreds of dollars to do that.
Yeah.
Or you could just be like,
When I first
dig in,
moved in,
figure it out.
my water softener wasn't working. It was just full of water, and I was like, I know that's not fucking good. It's supposed to be full of salt. And then me being like all timid new homeowner and shit, I was like, dude, like I don't want to fuck with this thing and make it worse, you know?
Yep.
So I called somebody out, and that was kind of my turning point. Like the dude showed up, he was super cool, and he's like, hey man, he's like, I know our minimum like service fee is $100, and I'm sorry, but he's like, it was just your settings. He's like, watch, I can show you real quick, and just show me how to like reset the settings, drain it all out, and like recharge it or whatever. And I was like, God damn it, I gotta pay him $100 for him to show me how to work this goddamn thing.
Yep.
And then from there, I was like, fuck it. The rest of the time, I'm just YouTube and fix it my damn self.
In this day and age, we have that. Yeah, I've YouTubed so much shit.
Motherfucker, yeah.
There's some guy out, some chick, someone out there showing you how to do it. You know?
I built a goddamn Harley. I'll put a fucking water softener together.
Yeah, man. My brother describes it. He's like chasing problems out of your life.
Yeah.
He's like, there's this problem, and you're like, fuck, I have to deal with it. And then like, you kind of, you chase it around, and then like you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've gotten this far, and then it's like, nah, but you haven't won yet. And it's like you're in this battle with this problem.
Yeah.
And eventually, like, it's like those games that are like go from side to side. Eventually, like you chase it off the screen.
Yeah.
And like it's no longer on your on your game. You're like chasing these problems out of your life.
Like right now, I'm thinking of like I fucking need to do my my exhaust vent over my stove. I'm like just thinking of shit like that. Like I just need to keep pounding these fucking things out. Like we were talking about, like texting back and forth. We were saying like the joys of home ownership and shit.
Yep, never ends.
It's like, God damn it, dude. But
and some things you do have to, you know, outsource. Like I've got some electrical issues now, and I'm just like, there's like this one breaker that keeps tripping, and like we tried to replace it with a different breaker, and like that didn't work, and like the panel's all old, and it's like it's commercial 3-phase crazy ass shit. It's not like residential, and I'm like, you know, someone's got to come in. But still, it's the same thing. At least I'm being proactive, trying to chase that problem out of my life.
If you got a decent set of tools and access to YouTube, bro, like you can fix your whole damn house. I've learned that very quickly. Like I've done some major home repairs that I had never even considered. So like, it's like you just watch a video real quick, buy a fucking like a drill if you need to. If you don't have that, if you needed like a multi-tool, buy a multi-tool.
Ratchet set, basics,
ratchet,
tape
just
measure,
get all the shit.
Whatever.
Like it's fucking easy.
Fucking sawzall with a wood blade and a metal blade, and do all this shit.
Up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool, man. You can do it.
Too easy.
Just put you back into it.
You just got to have a little bit of tenacity, I guess.
It does take a little bit of like courage to be like, all right, here we go. Like rip something apart, and like I better be able to. I'm ripping now. I have to figure it out because I have to put it back together.
Yeah. See, that's like.
And then now you have your family
that's
too.
the main motivator. Is like if I take this bitch apart, I need to put it back. And like, fuck.
Yeah.
Or you got to pay somebody, like do the walk of shame, have somebody else put your own shit back together.
I reached a point.
They're like, you worked on this, didn't you? God damn it.
Did you paint over the roaches?
Yes, I did. Fuck.
Oh shit. Man, it's been great though.
Fucking hey.
I'm glad you came out, man. Thanks for coming.
I am too, man. Dude, this
dope.
shit was dope. And then like basically just letting people know about your podcast too. I've been trying to tell fools about it, just seeing if I can get people on, just like getting you some views or whatever the fuck it is. You know
Thanks,
what I mean?
man. Yeah.
Fucking A. All about it.
Yeah, it's all about the community. I think we have a special thing. It's like that nostalgia thing. Like there's always been a feeling, like we talked about with the park.
Legit.
There's a feeling that I have with all the people that I've connected with, and I'm just like, man, just to have something to bring it all full circle again.
That's why when you texted me like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? I was like, fuck yeah, I want to be on the podcast.
Sick,
dude.
man.
Like, yeah, fuck yeah, I do. I'll help you out any way I can, dude.
Dude, it's so great. Like I mean, it's nothing without someone to talk to. So like anybody, past, present, or future, when it comes on, it's like, it's just.
If anybody was
perfect.
interested in anything I had to fucking say, that's fucking incredible. Cool.
Oh, they will be. I found you probably heard me say this, but the best thing about it is it's like not only do we get to hang out, but somebody else gets to sit in and be like, that's what Antoine's
and that's what
been
it
up
was
to.
like when I was telling you before we started. I was like, I fucking heard you talking with Ellie earlier, and I was like, motherfucker, dude, I spent all kinds of time with Ellie. Like, I missed that fool.
Yeah.
I think he's moving back to Cruces.
I think he's already back.
Is he?
I think so.
Motherfucker, yeah, I'm gonna have to go hit him up. But yeah, like, and the same thing. Like, I listened to your podcast with Luis, and then. Like your aunt was talking about some crazy ass like spiritual shit. I was like, God damn.
That
dude.
one got heavy, man.
It did.
Yeah.
And then, like I was saying, I was just listening to the one with Dom. Like, it is like that. It's legit. Like, you get those things brought up about the old days, then you're just like, motherfucker. You just kind of reminisce about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
And you get to like tie like a connection to that person you haven't seen in a while, you know.
True.
Even if you're like, you didn't necessarily get to hang out with Ellie one-on-one, but like you kind of got to.
It felt like I was there with him basically, or like with you guys, like just fucking bullshitting about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty fucking tight.
It's dope, man.
Fucking A, man.
Good shit, man. Well, shit. Thanks for coming, dude.
Cheers up.
I'm gonna have to crack one more and sip one with you on the porch. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Love you guys. Till next time. Fuck yeah.
Oh, I gotta piss. Oh, man. That was like 4 beers deep.